I'm just going to talk
Jesus
over you.
Christ. I just want to go. Oh, hey, guys. Welcome to another episode of Raiders of the Lost Ark, hosted today on Pop Culture Minefield's channel. And, of course, Keith will be here. He has promised me he will be here. He got his injection today of the not the same Moderna one I got, but he got his COVID shot today. And he's already starting to feel sucky. But I'm hoping he'll be here and fake it like I did last week, because I was faking it with you fuckers last week. I felt like shit.
Is it a beef injection?
I have a beef injection.
You have a rice cannoli injection.
I call it the Sperminator.
Call it the Tekonawi.
Sox Bulletin is here. Hello. Back to you. Of course, Theme Park is here. Joaquin Stark. Sean Crummell, our good friend. I was on live with him last night. I think I ruined and derailed his show. Not sure. It was fun, though. It was like middle of the damn night, like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, nobody's watching, so fuck it. We had fun. And yes, Sox, the show has begun. And we're going to be talking a little bit about, hey, Zax, we're going to be talking a little bit about cancel culture, some of the impact that it's had on some cartoons that we all kind of grew up on. Well, I don't know about those guys in the Great White North, but I'm assuming they know Bugs Bunny characters.
Yeah.
It was at this moment.
Why for you hit me with rock?
And speaking of rock, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Geode.
I would like to state now, Gary knows nothing about Canada. He thinks it's all part of Michigan, so don't listen to anything he says.
Oh, I thought it was like in Sweden, so it's actually close to us?
Yeah, just turn your head a little bit to your left.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, if I round up all my sled dogs and go to the next town, we can actually see the very first color television in Canada. It's amazing.
You're in Canada, you don't.
All 11 inches.
I do have something
It's
surprising.
probably the only thing 11 inches in Canada, right?
I did have something else I wanted to drop on you in a video that was probably going to be... you ever heard of the vegan teacher?
No.
Well, I put the video in the share because I didn't know how long until YouTube might delete it, but it's nuts.
Let me go take a look at this private chat. I don't see it in the private chat. Where'd you put it?
It's in the share. You know, beside our names, underneath the screen, right beside where it says Boomer.
Let me take mine off. Stop screen. There's yours. Oh, it looks like a wiener.
Boomer.
Look at this beautiful child. Beautiful eyes. Beautiful smile. Beautiful curly hair.
Oh, this sounds like it's going to get bad.
Beautiful skin. Look how adorable she is. What do you think about the idea of banning cruelty, but not words? Can you think of some words right now that are banned? What are they? What are some of the words that you're never allowed to write? And how did we get this way in society? Is banning words a good idea? When does it end? If we say we can't say
I
the
don't trust where
N-word,
this is going.
but then people ban even saying the N-word, then the
please
N-word
don't say it.
becomes
I will.
the
She's not going to say
X-N-word.
it.
Okay.
The N-word that used to be the other N-word. And it
Look
never
how
ends.
she's look where
It
the
just
camera's
goes
going.
on and on and on. What about other words? The F word, the C word, the R word, the S word. When does it end when we start banning language? Is it a good idea, really? Or is it better to just reclaim words that have hurt us? Just not let them have any power.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh
Now,
my fucking god.
now I'm done, and I paused it there for one reason. Because this is one that I wanted to kind of shock. You won't get in trouble because it's not the whole thing, but this is a white school teacher called the Vegan Teacher. She has a channel. She's been banned off Instagram, but she makes new ones and keeps putting these crazy videos out. Now, you can take that off the screen now before we get in trouble.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I will. Hit
So she does go full out what we're all thinking she does.
I think she doesn't actually say it, but supposedly she tried to make an anagram of a word, and that video has not been taken down. Tipster brought
Oh,
That is an acrostic, actually.
Oh,
but
And-
you know what I mean, though. But I'm just trying to say that is something a lot of people walked over, and it was just like, what?
what was that?
Now
Oh,
lace
man.
into it. Now lace into it. What are your thoughts on that? Besides awkward silence.
That bitch is crazy.
Yeah, I
I understand the intention.
I'm not.
I don't
I'm not
think it's
touching
probably
that shit.
something you can
That's
properly
bad
execute.
shit crazy.
Yeah.
That's just fucking crazy. I'm sorry. I don't even have any other thoughts on past that.
Well, especially the way it's set up, because it's not setting up an actual argument. She's using toys and a soft voice and making all these, I don't know, indirect comparisons that kind of dumbs down the entire argument that, words are just words. So she's like shooting her own argument in the foot with this entire setup.
Yeah. Okay, well, the argument is words are just words, but then the thing is you don't reclaiming a word. That's an argument used by people to justify saying that word, and it hasn't worked in the last 30 years. So
Clerks 2, for God's sake.
Yeah.
For the
Oh,
back
gosh,
of the
yeah.
shirt. Yeah. But I thought I just wanted to throw that out there like as like a big spoof. I wasn't going to make you guys get caught, but
I appreciate that, man.
I will say that
didn't
type
George-
of mental gymnastics, that's a lost art, that's for sure.
Didn't George Carlin kind of do bits about just words being, words?
Yeah, actually, he said that one particular word with regarding to a person who fillets other people shouldn't be considered an insult, but a compliment.
Yeah. See, he could probably make an argument that would be...
And of course, we should put the definition of fillet. So, for those who don't fucking know what that means, nobody on this dais, but you never know.
the fact is, I stopped because I didn't want to play the rest of it, but she literally did the whole structure of the whole word and tried to just use beautiful words attached to it. So then if you ever actually decide to go down that mentality and use that word for no reason, and like, what did you say? Well, this is what it means. And by the time you got to the second word, you'd already be on the floor, beat the crap out of it.
Oh,
So
yeah, you would be done.
And this is a teacher. This is called the Vegan Teacher, right? And when she posted this video yesterday, she earned like a couple hundred subs afterwards. And it kept going.
Man, yeah, it's just not a good look in any way. And when it was starting off, I was trying to think from her point, that's the argument that she's trying to put forward. But I mean, there's just some things that you're never going to get back, and you probably shouldn't. You're not the one that's going to drive home in order to save this. It's not going to get saved that way.
But I didn't mean to shock any of you. I just thought I would have something that was kind of outside of the bubble we were talking about without getting exposed to. But like, YouTube left this up.
That's it's pretty surprising.
Probably because nothing was said.
Hey, we got some more people in the chat. We've got our buddy T-shirted historian. We have Keely Chow. Hi, Keely. And T-shirt wants to know. Let me. Where's it is? Where did you put it?
Are you of a Hispanic origin?
Yeah, there we go. Is anybody?
He's talking to you.
No, he's wanting to know if any of us are of Hispanic origin.
No, he said directly to you.
No, that's to you.
Okay.
It says, are any of you? That's the whole panel.
Yeah, that's all of us.
Well, why does he have to add pop culture?
Yeah.
Well, he wants to make sure because I'm hosting that I see the message.
Sure.
Jesus Christ. It's like talking to fifth graders.
Well,
So anyway,
from teacher. Yeah.
I am such a mishmash of Jewish, even American Indian, Irish, mostly Celt.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like 88% Celtic, and the rest is like this mishmash
Asshole.
of
Wait,
Yeah,
then
asshole.
The rest
is
just asshole.
I have a question, Gary. Then the overuse of runes in WandaVision, did you find it like they were trying to appropriate Celtic culture?
No, hold on, wait a sec. We got a question here from Rowan, which of course is Kate. Not true. Most people over 55, 60 years still think ginger is a slur in the U.S., so it can happen when everyone else disagrees.
I love Kate.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Ginger
Good evening.
was a slur?
Oh, yeah.
But
you
I
know.
like it on some of my foods, ginger. Just a little pinch of ginger there.
Ginger's right now. Kate's probably going,
Don't
I'm not
pinch
sitting on
ginger,
this.
just add a pinch of ginger.
Right now, Kate's like, I'm not sitting on Scripps food. I don't care how much he likes ginger. It's not happening.
George Carlin was a genius ahead of his time. If he were alive today, cancel culture would go after him. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
and
definitely.
they will go after him, Socks. I guarantee you. Because they're going after everything that doesn't fall to the knee with what they believe. Keely, you didn't miss anything. There was a really good fart musical number that Yeti did. He is a really gifted ass, and it's true.
Yeah,
And
it
we
takes
need
talent.
respect, a lot of respect. Let's see, pinch of ginger. I don't know what. I've never heard that, but I'm sure it exists. Let's see, Fat Steven Seagal, who sits on the dais, says, "Let me have one. Come on." Okay, get a fucking room, you guys. Jesus Christ. Marcus.
This is highbrow content you get right here.
Let's go back to Marcos. Marcos said, "Good evening, Gary, not Jerry. Script Doctor, Yeti Cast, and Fat Steven. Hope everybody is good. I'm a rotten bastard, but I'm healthy. So is that? I think that counts. But I'm not sure what T-shirt historian was going for here. But I don't know if he's making light or making a joke that we can't talk about Hispanic culture if we're not part of it. And that's, of course, I don't agree with that. It's like you can talk about any fucking culture.
I don't think we should go after anyone that has panic, an issue with panicking. That's person who his panic is, it's touchy. They need some confidence, and we should all be encouraging that. We shouldn't make fun of them.
Sounds like Script is panicking right now.
The answer to that is called weed. It chills.
What about
them
her
the
panic?
hell out.
This sounds a little sexist. Why don't we discuss her panic?
It's Hicks panic. Get it right.
Let's see. Now that cancel culture has gone after Pepe, how long will it be before they go after Johnny Bravo?
They won't go after Johnny Bravo. First of all, he has blonde hair, he's white, and blue eyes, and he's safe.
He's
Plus, he can do the monkey with you.
Classy Cannabis. His panics. You're a dick. And of course, our buddy T-shirted says, "I'm just teasing you. Fuck you, man. Stop teasing, man. Making me cry. I'm Hispanic, dude. I know you're Hispanic. What? You're worse than fucking atheists and vegans. It's like you come into the room and you tell everybody you're fucking Hispanic. We know. We can see you.
This is not a 10.
That is
I tell you,
clearly
it
an
is
image
not.
of a
It is me
Hispanic
Hispanicing.
as your little avatar." There,
Only
T-shirt
Hispanics
is-
have tattoos of skulls on their chest.
Yeah,
right?
we all know that. I've seen movies. I've read books.
We know about the teardrop.
I've heard of MS-13.
MS-13. Check out.
We know the other
we all-
version of coyotes.
I think I shocked Kate there a little.
We all know about the Nacho Libre candidate. We all know about it.
Yeah, it's like, let's hire a very American guy to play Hispanic. Oh my God, why haven't they canceled Nacho Libre?
It's coming. It's gonna happen.
It's sort of like, why didn't they cancel School of Rock? None of them are actually teachers.
And none
And
of them
Don't
were really
give them
kids.
ideas.
And none of the kids were really kids. They were all midgets.
That's right. And then I'm also sort of an atheist. Yeah, I'm an agnostic atheist. So
I only believe in God's toe, nothing else.
it's a funny story that I'm not going to share here because it's too boring for this crowd. My faith system. But I am a devout Catholic who doesn't believe in all the magic.
Or the guilt.
You mean Penn and Teller are not real priests?
I would like to say I don't believe in the guilt, but I suffer from Catholic guilt like a motherfucker. So it's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. And it's exhausting.
Doesn't it sound like this, Gary? Why did I let Fat Steven on? Why am I feeling so guilty for letting Fat Steven on? Why am I guilting myself into letting Fat Steven on?
It's more about like all the filthy dick pics I send you that I feel bad about.
Yeah, or at least like
because they're not mine. I'm
Yeah,
bragging, and they're really photos of somebody else's dick.
Well, when it has like a stock photo watermark on it, I can tell it's not yours.
Stock cock.
.com.
That exists, I'm pretty sure. I would not be
It's someplace.
It's
It's sort of like stock rock with.
Who's the brave person that's gonna, Google this right now? Who's gonna put it in their browser?
Nope.
I'm already doing it.
Yeah, what was it I said? And people started doing it. Don't Google Kermit porn.
What it's saying is that this, for full functionality of the site, is to enable something not happen. But there is no porn. There's one called Stop Cock, which is a Cook Medical. I'm done. So if anyone wants to claim that domain of stopcock.com, go for it.
Yeah, but not to derail the derailment. I want to bring us back to some of the subjects we want to talk about, which is, of course, this hatred towards anything that was awesome. The cartoons are just, I mean, people don't know that groups of mothers got together in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, to stop cartoons from being violent. And,
of course they did.
Yeah, they parodied this in a Simpsons episode with Marge Simpson.
yeah, it was because as a kid, I was really angry, going, "Leave my Tom and Jerry, leave my Bugs Bunny and cartoons alone, stupid mothers." And that was just it. And they really wanted to, and that was really when you saw the end of the classic cartoons on Saturday mornings. And there was a slow buildup to the death of Saturday morning cartoons, and that was really the beginning of it. So this woke ass fucking stupid shit has been around for a long time. If my children see the cat hitting a mouse, he will instinctively hit his brother or his sister. Whatever.
You mean it?
Off.
Oh yeah, and if you hold an umbrella while jumping off a cliff, you will most likely safely float to the bottom. That no one ever.
I remember hearing that argument. I've been experiencing with mothers not liking, and some also, I guess, effeminate dads not liking violence in cartoons. And at any time that argument comes up, my dad would be like, "Bugs Bunny versus the Crusher is the funniest physical comedy cartoon you will ever see." And he will pull out a VHS tape, he will show it to them, and they will always laugh every single time.
Well, it's like the Three Stooges
brilliant.
too, because it's like, I love the Three Stooges. I never get tired of it. Abbott and Costello, there was a lot of slapping in Abbott and Costello. And just some amazing stuff that if they tried to make that shit today.
They attempted the Three Stooges kind of today, and that movie bombed.
And the funny part is I loved it. I cracked up. It's like, yeah, it wasn't really the Three Stooges. I don't know why they did it in 3 acts like that. They should have just done separate stories and not tried to have them interconnect.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. God, that dude, Will Sasso, cracks me up.
They got good
really
actors.
good. He hasn't been he's been around for like 35 years, and he never gets his due, which is
the first thing I remember seeing him in was back in the 90s. He was not an ER tech, but the guy that worked in the morgue in the Doctor Who America movie.
Yeah, He was one of the morgue day player guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, holy shit, because I saw it that year and didn't know who the fuck he was, but a few years later I watched it again. I'm like, oh my god, that was Will Sasso. No shit. Awesome.
He did that. He did a couple other things. Got Mad TV, which he did quite well on.
Oh my god, he was one of the biggest highlights on that show.
Yep.
You know, his whole Kenny Rogers thing.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Just
His Kenny
fucking-
Rogers is great.
Didn't he also
Mixing
do the
Kenny
Steven
Rogers
Seagal?
with Kick-Ass. Oh my god. Yeah, he did the fat Steven Seagal.
Yeah. Oh, where he was like, "Oh, they're all taking a vow of silence." Oh, really? Now, starts being- I watched that this morning. I loved it.
Let's see. Joaquin says Darkwing Duck was.
Great cartoon.
I enjoyed that show. Yeah, I watched it with my kids. Sock says shows like All in the Family, yep, Sanford and Son, and Married with Children couldn't be on TV today. Funny part is, Norman Lear and his partners that made Sanford and Son, All in the Family, who are also the business partners of the Blade Runner partnership. They were extreme liberals in Hollywood. And the whole idea behind All in the Family was to make Archie look bad. The problem was Middle America fucking loved him. Carol O'Connor, guy who played him, didn't like the character.
No.
Because he was also
He's the
kind
opposite
of
of
a
the
lefty.
guy.
Yeah, he's opposite. And but there was so much stuff that he said on that show that resonated with Middle America. And really, when I say Middle America, pretty much all over the country, because Middle America is everywhere. You have Middle Americans in New York. They try to act like they're not. It's a blue state. Fuck you. There are red people that live there.
But not only that, Archie Bunker is the type of character who he learned something in every episode, and on top of that, his heart was always in the right place. He was
Always
never a
in the right
cruel
place.
person. He was never a cruel
Exactly.
person, and whenever he did learn some mistake that he had, he made sure he corrected it, and he got like better as a
Well, and
result.
by
of it.
the
He
end
was
of the episode, or by the end of the double episode, there was something gleaned from his experience, like his experiences with the Jeffersons before they went off on their own show.
Yeah, I mean, he
You
actually
know?
likes Lionel a lot. Like he may say stupid things about him. Like I think one of the famous lines is he's one of the good ones.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, he stood up for that kid all the time, and whenever someone would like push against him, it's like, yeah, that's a guy who cares more about like the neighborhood and the people that are with there than the discrimination of the stuff around there. But
Yeah, they had a great episode, and it sticks out of my mind because I did a meme of it, where Sally is talking to her, to Archie, and she says, "Don't you understand, Dad? 70% of deaths are murders," and which of course was a ridiculously insane statistic. But Archie just leans in, or gun murders. And he says, "Would it make you feel any happier if they'd been pushed out the window, darling?" And the logic of Archie Bunker was just so spot on. Even though, he was supposed to be this guy you deplore, he ended up being one of the most likable people on TV and one of the most popular. Very human. And they don't want that anymore. They don't want human characters. They want these robotic characters that recite a mindset. And this is what we have with this cancel culture.
Wait, Gary, do you mean like they actually don't want human characters? They just don't want human emotions when it comes to these
They don't
things?
want human thought. They don't want free thought. They want a robotic type personality that recites things exactly the way they want to hear it.
Yeah,
I don't
why
want
they went after Gina so hard.
I don't want to watch a TV show that says anything I don't 100% believe and agree with. I mean, you want to talk about people who are the equivalent of the 80s church ladies going after TV? That's cancel culture, baby.
Yeah.
They learned.
Oh, yeah, they
It took them
evolved.
40 years to perfect it, but they finally figured it out.
Yeah,
With
imagine if
social
we'd
media,
had
it helps.
Exactly. Imagine if we'd had social media in the 80s.
That would have been so miserable.
Oh, I think I do
There'd be
believe.
no John Rambo.
Look who showed up. Oh my God. It's
Okay.
But
Keith.
yeah, you're essentially saying that they want characters that are inert, kind of like a certain stony new addition to
To
Star Wars books.
Yeah. And of course, you've got the other side coming after the fanboy side, which we are all part of. And they're like, you don't get the joke. And it's like, first of all, it's a dumb joke that they created this character. It's a dumb joke. And the fact is, it's fucking hilarious for us because we use the joke better than you guys do. And this is the thing.
They don't know how to laugh.
SJWs don't know how to meme. They don't know how to make a joke. Because, well, the thing is at any second, they're so nervous about saying anything, they can't be funny.
Yeah, because humor is problematic because you can't put something else down.
No.
Yeah, and we all know that other characters in this book are just going to take that Geode navigator for granted.
Exactly. No, it's not that. You guys are missing the main point when it comes to humor, jokes, comedy, and making light of a situation. It disarms. It disarms situations. Because when you start saying it but when you do it with delivery, like comedy, Gary, you've done stand-up before.
Yeah.
And when comedy is done and delivered correctly, it disarms a situation. It can disarm a room, and then it's like a reset in most people's brains where they can look at it from a different perspective while laughing.
Okay.
And saying, "Oh,
yeah.
this is crazy."
Yeah. I definitely agree with you there because the premise of what I said was set up wrong. Just because when you joke about something, you're trying to show respect for it because you're allowing there to be a joke. If you didn't actually respect someone, you would not make a joke at all, and that's kind of their own issue.
Well, I don't respect.
You're just being mean.
Yeah.
I do. They literally gave us an episode.
Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. T-shirt had said, I want to go back to this. These shows couldn't be made today, and yet CBS is doing All in the Family. Or they did it with, who was it?
Well, they did 724.
That was
in the early 2000s. That did not work.
No, it failed. But they also did a recent one with the guy from the zombie movie, the two zombie movies, Double Tap and he was on Cheers.
Oh, Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson played Archie Bunker. And I didn't watch it.
That.
I didn't watch it. I won't watch it. They're trying to bring back old shows, and they're trying to put it in with a modern perspective. And of course, when they say modern perspective, they mean woke ass perspective.
Yeah, it's going to fail.
Family's timeless, though. You can watch those episodes today, and it still has.
It resonates. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Mike Stivic is always wrong. And by the end of the series, when he leaves Gloria to run away to some sort of like hippie convent or whatever, it proves Archie Bunker's right. When the judge of character, he's like, yeah, he didn't like that kid, but he stood up for him. He supported him. He helped him, be a husband and a father with his daughter and grandkid. And all he does is take off.
Exactly. And, Michael Stivic as a character was an annoying, typical hippie from that period.
Yeah.
And he was likable only because of Reiner's performance. He made him likable when in fact he was a detestable, annoying people. And I grew up in that period and I remember hippies and they were filthy people. They were so gross. Mm-hmm. We had them because of my siblings. We had them around the house all the time and they smelled bad all the time.
Another thing with these older shows is like people claim you can't make them in this day and age. You know why you can't? Because the shows that we've had that we remember that we talk about that supposedly can't be made in today's date is because we can learn from those Archie Bunker episodes. If we make anything today trying to use present day whatever it is, that's not even fun. It can't be a comedy.
Well, the problem is they expect they expect the characters fully evolved. And where's your growth for your show? Yeah. If your character is already fully evolved, that's the problem with Mary Sue's, male or female versions. Where's the joy in watching this character grow when they're already fully evolved? And
they want people without faults, but people without faults are boring. There's no plot development. There's no character development. It can't push anything forward.
Ray Palpatine.
Yeah. Keith, exactly. Come on, jump in here, man.
Well, no, you guys are, you're really putting it out there. If I may add something else to it, though.
No,
That's
You
why
also
I
have to look at the you also have to look at the period when a lot of these shows were created. The people that were writing on these shows were people that themselves had gotten into the business maybe 20 years before. They had a different perspective. And in the case of All in the Family was really one of the very first American adaptations.
and
of
also
British.
the Lannister model.
Yeah, it is a different kind of show that once it got to here in America had to be altered just a little bit, just like Sanford and Son, which was also a British television show originally that was transplanted here to the United States, like The Office, like Three's Company. And you have to really be a really good writer to be able to do that and be successful on top of it. And a lot of the people that are doing stuff today do not have enough experience, whether you're talking about in the business or, in my personal opinion, enough life experience to handle these characters and the perspectives that they bring. So they bring everything from a more political or more
Virtue single?
kind of like a educational
It's not the political
background.
It's what we've talked about before, which is why you and I agree so much, is socio-political.
There you
And-
go, socio-political. And so it's almost like being a scientist and observing rather than having any real life experience to add into that, or if they're willing to use that. Because I think even some of these writers are just afraid to use what they've learned, and what little they do use, they take all the wrong lessons from it.
Well, yeah,
Thus-
because they call some of those things white supremacy. And there are literal articles about how evidence and life experience is that. It's mind-boggling that it can be associated in that type of way. Like, human experience, we can all gain things from, one, talking to each other, bouncing off ideas and growing. But the way that they're trying to take it is like, okay, math. Well, they want to get rid of math because there was, these white guys made it. So we have to go back to the drawing board to learn how to do it, because that might not be the actual right way. Like, no, math is kind of 2 + 2 = 4. There's no variation.
No, I'm sorry. That right there is racist, and I'm going to call it out. I'm speaking on behalf of the Geode rock community right now.
Well, I do need
we
to
used
2
to
point
+
out-
2
Trade
equals
them for things.
racist, sir. And
I-
can you smell what the rock is cooking right now?
Yeah, it smells like lavender. I do want to point out that mathematically, on the race ratio readings I'm getting, Keith still has 20 minutes to talk. So,
And that means I can order another Uber Eats dinner?
go get another
All
Uber
right.
Eats. And,
Wow.
and of course, it was pointed out that Keith is eating chips, thanks to T-Shirt, our good friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much for these burritos. I love
Oh,
them
yeah.
so much.
And of course, Kate said, "Yep, most are third-string soap roundtable writing assistants." Keith,
Yeah, well, that's what's look. I would say this: the comic book industry would probably be better off if they had third-string soap opera writing table
Yeah.
assistants. But
You're not wrong.
Not at all.
The thing is that how a lot of these people today are doing things, and again, I said it before, Star Trek Discovery is a really good example. So is really the writing group from Lucasfilm. These are all people that are so agendaed that they are almost unable to have anything creative to say.
Well, are you saying
Because-
a rock is not creative? The rock, the navigator, the several ton rock that sits behind them, and in their videos shows the rock
Watch your
outside.
words, brother. I will
in the
hurt you.
hangar bay. Like, somebody had to drag that thing
I
out
power-
of the ship.
I power a ship that goes through space and hyperspace. I do my part. I might
You don't
stand
power
there.
it.
I do power it. I power with my teeth and whiteness. Look how white my teeth are. I power everything in the hyperspace.
You know, I think I'm more of the belief that at least half these people understand that what they're doing is really meant to be more disruptive, and are using that as a power play to gain more power within the industry, to allow themselves to advance much further and much faster than if they had actually just worked for what they have.
I don't know if I'd fully buy into that, just because I think they're so stuck in their own echo chamber in that area that they're all saying these things are good. They won't give actual honest feedback. It's like
Alex
this,
Kurtzman.
Yeah, it's this feedback.
He
loop.
does not believe this stuff. Okay, Kurtzman is one of these people, as Gary and I have pointed out. He is an opportunist more than anything else, and he advances and he continues to. I mean, every job he's held, he's been basically there when somebody's done something wrong and has been the guy that they pointed to move up. He is an opportunist, and what he's doing with a show like Discovery, or really any of his more recent stuff, is he's teaching a whole new generation of writers to do that, rather than function based on any discernible talent. And that is dangerous, and it's bad for the entire business.
I would just like to say one thing. I would like to say one thing right now. I want to promote my new movie, Fast and the Furious 16. It'll be coming out eventually, and it's going to be the same crap we always see in the theater or on home video. And yes, rocks can drive cars.
But can they navigate?
I can navigate my gear shift onto my pebble.
Because I can put a rock on the gas pedal and just close my eyes. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go in the right direction all the time.
I love to rock and roll with you sometimes, Script.
I just want to know.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to know who's the person that's dragging the rock around with them.
Because it's a life form, he can move on his own.
It's a rock. It's got no arms or legs. Like it's got
you are
no
not
agency.
But you're not thinking of a galaxy far, far away. We don't know the mental state of the rock. We don't know if it has quartz powers or limestone disease or anything.
I think
The
a lot of this
question I have is,
it travels by a mudslide.
How do you sex a rock?
With a
How do you
hole.
identify a gender to a rock?
Yeah, how do you?
Oh,
sex
I went a
rock?
different way.
Yeah,
that's
Eddie was
what it's
thinking, well, you
called
can either
when
drill
you
a hole or chisel out a phallic shape.
Sexing animals means you're identifying their gender. How do you do that with a rock? I asked the guy that is going by the name Geode on Twitter, and his response is, I can't really tell you on Twitter. I'll get banned. And but I'm enjoying all of these memes and all the fun everybody is having at the expense of this fucking stupid idea.
Do you
I do
think
have to
it poops
cancel.
pebbles?
No, I have to cancel the Flintstones. They use so many of my brothers and sisters incorrectly through the whole series.
Yeah, it's like I said to Itchy Backa, I was like, man, I used to collect rocks all the time and wash them and play with them.
Eat
And
them?
does that mean that I molested rocks?
Yes, you did. just like the woodsman from Little Red Riding Hood kidnapped a bunch of rocks and put them in the wolf's belly before throwing them down the well. So technically, not only did he kidnap, he then held them hostage and then drowned them.
Are you giving us details of
You
this
are-
very old and
you are-
racist story?
You are a scary, scary little man.
Little Red Riding Hood just popped in my head and I went with it.
You are so.
Well, here's the
I
sad
sit
part.
there and
So-
I'm like, what the fuck is he saying?
Well, the sad part is that the writer of the rock story didn't come up with the idea of the rock. Her boyfriend did.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
So
Okay.
someone just threw it at him?
Essentially,
This is what I really want to know through all of this. So this Lucasfilm, it's $1 billion company, and they've got teams and teams of writers. They've got editors, they've got creative directors, they've got people that you have to go through in order to get greenlit. When they heard a rock, no one anywhere stopped them and said, this
know, right?
isn't a good idea.
Well, this is a publishing wing, so this is a different area.
Okay, but they would still have lines of people that you have to go through to get approved.
Have you seen that Publishing Ring story group? It's all basically like a writer's room where whoever's in charge is just wanting to make their deadline and not care about the quality of the work. And we know this to be true with the last few comic books and novels that they've already released, and nobody is talking about them. This is the most talk today that this book and any Star Wars High Republic property has ever experienced in its existence.
So are we saying that this $1 billion company that has money out the wazoo just did not care about any sort of quality?
I told you not to show that on the screen.
They just shipped it out the door for a
my
deadline.
wife sent that and shared it with me just now.
In most cases, yeah, that is a common thing, sadly, especially when you're cutting it close. And for instance, like a large company like Disney is saying, we need to start making money and producing content with regards to this wing. So we need this stuff done like yesterday, so to speak. And that also happens, sadly, in TV, especially if something goes wrong, where it's like, it doesn't matter if you fix it to have it make sense, just fix it so that we can get the day done. And that's kind of its own detriment to television and film. But
it's not like any of these writers in this writers group
Rowan,
are actually fans.
Nor do they plan on staying in this group for very long. They want to use it to elevate themselves to another position somewhere else.
Which is what I was saying. This is not about doing anything that is entertaining or is something that would even make the longtime fans happy, any of the fans happy. This is exactly what Script Doctor is saying. It is just a means to an end.
Okay,
and
but if that's
allows
the case, like if that's the case, if it's a means to an end in order to get another job, wouldn't the people judge the quality of the work that was done? Because if I saw any of that, I'd be like, there is no way you're touching anything I made.
Yeti, they're at the point now. This is Lucasfilms. This is Disney Star Wars we're talking about. If someone has a lot of audio feedback, like their mic is picking up everything. Does anyone else hear that? Or is that just me?
I don't hear anything on my end.
I'm not hearing anything either.
I can hear someone's whole room in my ears right now.
In your ear?
Yeah, like you can hear the ambient of a mic? Or it's the ocean, I can't tell.
I kind of hear a little
probably
bit
the
of
ocean because it's not
I hear a little bit of
it
like
is your
hissing.
mic. I know it's your mic.
It can't be my mic.
Like
it is
white
you.
noise, yeah.
Well,
Mute
let's
yourself for a
go.
second?
Let's. I'm going to go through them one by one. Here you go. Is it that one?
No.
I've already muted my mic before.
Is that one?
No.
Is it that one? I muted him.
No.
Is it that one?
No. Survey says go fuck yourself.
No. Is it that one?
Yep.
That's t-shirted.
Are you shitting me?
You gotta turn down your gain. Turn down your gain a little. Literally, it's picking up you, but it's also picking up everything that's waiting for static sound to kick in.
Wow.
Okay, I wanted to. Let's see. I got to go back here. Boy, they've been talking on the chat here.
Fat jokes again. Hi, Thomas.
Jacob is tired of the Fast and Furious franchise.
I just see Rowan says, "I hate you people." So I'm not sure if that's us
Does
or
the
the
Rock
people we're
use
talking
pronouns? Kate says, or Rowan has, I have lots of rocks. And then she says, some are very pretty. I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty
and witty and something.
Oh,
cancel if I say that word.
The word is gay. And I am gay for this show.
You're gay for anything that has frosting. What are you talking?
Frosting.
Still a bit better, guys.
Everything is problematic. Then Rowan again, but I don't know their gender sex. Theme Park says, I'm glad we can some of this stuff out in the open. Rocks have had to remain silent for too long. It's true.
My pebbles rise up.
See, Cavitano, welcome to the show. That Star Wars girl played audio reading of Geode's introduction today. Oh my God, that was. Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
that's cringe-inducing.
Yeah, what kind of drugs was he on? I'm not sure who this is directed to.
Hard rock candy.
Oh,
here's the thing. I doubt they would be on any drugs. Like they just seem so lame. You know, they wouldn't use anything to be creative.
But they don't care about
Yeah,
it.
it's a committee, and nothing creative comes from committees. I learned that with my work at IDW.
But-
my least favorite stuff I worked on was when there was a committee to answer to.
Hey, that
But the
reminds me of a
reason-
story.
The
And it fits this really well.
re-
Some of you guys are probably remember a movie called The Crow with Brandon Lee.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The original artist of that, when they were pitching him the movie idea, a studio producer actually sat down with James, what's his name? I can't remember. O'Barr, I think.
Yeah, James
Anyway.
O'Barr.
Yeah, James O'Barr. Anyway, and the guy literally said, okay, so here's my idea for The Crow. We can do a musical, and we can have Michael Jackson play Eric Draven. And I mean, James O'Barr thought he was just joking. He started giggling about it, and the studio executive looked at him like, I'm serious. This is how the
Yeah.
creative process in Hollywood works, guys.
Well, for years,
But that would be amazing, though. Could you imagine the Crow mid-fight just grab his crotch, and go, oh,
No.
for 3 seconds?
No.
This really is how many creatives actually are. And as we were saying in a previous show, I think we can now understand why so many people in the business really do hate this stuff. A majority of these people that work on this don't like it. They don't like comic books. They don't like anything nerd or geek. They really are waiting for a lot of this to be over, so that they can get back to doing, the quote unquote real creative work that they've always wanted to do.
Well,
You're
a lot
air
of-
quoting.
a
Wait,
lot of
you're
them
air
are from
quoting.
business backgrounds. They're from statistics and business schools and whatnot. They're not actually.
Hey, let's
From
not
a
knock
background
all
with any
business
sort of-
schools here.
What's that?
I think we
I
should.
went to
Going to
business
business
school, but I think I'm creative.
Uh-huh.
Well, the thing is, like, they only went to business school because their parents told them to. It's not like they had a passion and something to latch on to. Like, what the woman who is the godmother to my godchildren that I've got with my ex-girlfriend, she doesn't have a creative bone in her body. She didn't know what she wanted to do with her life at all. But her dad said, go to business school, you'll find your way. And she did. And she still has no creative tendency. But the thing is, like, she does always say, it would be nice to work in film whenever we talk. I said, no, because you just ruin it. All the things you like about movies that entertain you, you would never know how to identify or do. And she had to think long and hard on that and realize, yeah, you're kind of right, because I don't have imagination. And, I tease her about that because she teased me about other things because, 11 years together and a friendship for like almost 20. So, yeah, we have that relationship. But the thing is, I see that in Hollywood, especially with some of the younger execs. They're like, oh, yeah, I went into statistics, love math, love sports. And I'm like, great. What sort of things triggered your imagination as a kid? It's like, no, I didn't really have much of an imagination. It's like, yeah, that's probably
They
why
still
you're stuck
don't.
at your job.
Well, and many of them treat it like it's some kind of a recipe. They think that there's a formula to how you put certain stories or certain things together. You can see that with someone like Alex Kurtzman.
Well, there is a formula, but the thing is, just like with a chef, you follow the recipe, but after you understand what it is, you then start to make it your own, and that's where you end up starting to shine as a creative. It's like, okay, I need to know if I'm making pizza, I need dough, I need tomato sauce, I need cheese. Like, once you
Lots
figure
of
out that and
cheese.
get it just right, then you can start adding in your other ingredients that complement those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And-
like
and you
building
look
the perfect burger.
Yep.
There
Yeah,
are so
well,
many
you look
different ways.
You look at, like, for instance, what happened with Discovery when Kurtzman got a hold of it. His first instinct was to just go ahead and start changing what had been written. This is someone who is rewriting a script that, well, I think script you would know more about it than I. I've never read the original Discovery pilot.
I've read part 2. I don't have my hands on part 1 yet.
I think that would be infinitely
Well, it was
more
written by a
entertaining.
far superior writer, and
Uh-huh.
a far inferior writer rewrote it.
You know what
Yes.
the bad thing is, though, is that Michael Burnham's character relatively stays the same. It's all the other characters around her that are way better in the original version.
Mhm.
Well, that would have been a much better show.
Yeah, because she'd
Yes.
have to elevate
Oh.
herself instead of just end up being right. Even when, she was supposed to be wrong, in the end, she turned out to be right.
She's the
Well,
best
she was-
ever.
She was meant to be us. She was meant to really be the audience. And we were meant to go with her on a journey, not only as part of Starfleet as an officer, but as a person. And I can see, that show I want to see.
I don't know
What
a
we
single
ended up
person that
getting-
cries that much.
Oh,
I know
wait.
someone who
well,
does.
Yeah, okay. See, there's something that relates to this, and it's kind of funny because I come from the world of role-playing games, among other things. I used to write.
He
do a little
dresses
bit of
up like a
artwork.
My Little Pony.
Yes, I do. I dress up like a My Little Pony just for you, Fat Steven.
You better right.
Yes. I'll get the horn. You know where to put it. Anyway.
I'll put it in your rainbow bright.
That's right. Put it in my
It's like
rainbow
gimmicky
bright.
talk.
The rainbow hole. Okay, but you remember
rainbow.
last year, probably they had a thing with people evidently came up with this idea that black people were orcs, or orcs were like black people, and I
Yeah,
don't know
talked
where
about
that
that the other
came
day.
from.
That was
Yeah.
so stupid.
It was
Yeah.
so stupid. I don't know where it came from.
They were trying
Uh,
to call Lord of the Rings racist,
Yes.
but in fact, they were being racist
Yes.
by
Well,
doing that.
And
Well,
that's the
because
thing.
nobody thinks of orcs in those terms.
No.
Like, they were racist in coming up with that idea. Like,
Yes.
oh, I see this orc. That must be some black person. Like, no one thinks that. No one who is normal
Wait a
has
minute.
that thought.
Wait a
ever.
minute. Wait a minute.
Okay.
We have a man of color
Yeah.
on the dais.
What,
Keith,
script doctor?
what do you think?
You know what? I still can't believe that become a thing.
Oh, you hit your time
Yeah.
limit. I'm sorry.
I
No,
just,
he still has 20 minutes.
I'm sorry, Keith. Go ahead.
it still amazes me that was a thing for a moment, because I've never identified really with hardly anything in fantasy. I mean, when I did play role playing, I never really played other species. I just played a human guy that was willing to kill anything that moved.
You're
Wait,
boring.
wait, Keith, before we get on that, most guys, when they had something like that character creation, right? The first thing we usually did is pick a chick, usually a hot elf, make sure the ass looked good because we were staring at it was third person, and the nicest pair of knockers we could find, right? Pretty much most guys made the female they wish they could date in the
Okay.
game for most RPGs.
Okay,
Am I wrong on
my,
this?
my
What are you
wife,
talking about? That
my
kind of
wife
RPG
is in the
stuff.
chat. So watch your language,
Hi,
guys.
Jan.
None of that nasty fucking shit you normally do.
Okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
Don't
God.
talk
damn,
about your
when did
dicks,
Well-
balls, or anything.
Gotcha.
Well,
Let me
Don't-
scratch my nuts while I
Whatever
describe
you-
this next part.
Yeah.
my
Whatever you
ding-a-ling,
don't say,
my
don't talk about how
ding-a-ling.
Gary was putting a giant dildo up his ass the other day to just get off.
I just said don't do that.
He had
I was
a
telling
rock
them you're not
penis
supposed to
and
talk
I
about
kept
everything.
telling
it.
you that's not the way you take your insulin. You should know that. You've been a field.
Yeah, it has
She
instructions,
didn't know
bro.
that. Now she knows. Jesus Christ. I mean,
Gary's
Okay,
the type of guy. Gary's the type of guy that gets like the black dick dildo and puts it in backwards, wondering why it's not working.
And I
Okay,
just want to
flat part
say for the
first.
record that to my parents, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Sue. Sorry.
I just
Okay,
They
before I go and
expect that
segue
from
into my historian phase over
You're a
here.
good son, Keith.
your mom and dad expect that crap from me.
Oh, okay.
We
It
love
doesn't matter
Keith.
if you are. I'm not even finished the Michael Jackson song. I don't want to.
So okay, we're talking about the RPGs and orcs and black people, right? Okay, here's where the correlation comes in.
Hey, Mr. Pickle Trunk, keep going.
You know that orcs, because there was so much outcry against that, they were the negative stats, because usually their mental stats are lower than their physical stats. They were homogenized to where they had no more negative mental stats, and they had other races that were also brought up out of negative mental stats. And I don't know why anybody thought kobolds were anything but kobolds. I don't know. Maybe they equated them with Mexicans or something. I never saw them that way.
Wait, what?
As a matter of fact, no player I know ever equated those races with anything other than being fantasy races. But the deal is, because we had World of Warcraft and all these other things that elevated the orc species to a level where they were actually thought of as another race of people with thoughts and feelings and families and all that other stuff, people couldn't grasp or abide the fact that orcs could actually be just bred for absolutely evil things, or there could be a race that was just designed to be evil, bone crushing, killing monsters.
Well, I think you might be missing a little bit of a point
they're
there.
Fictional.
I might be missing a point.
They're not even real.
Because of their association. Like they didn't just see them being portrayed as enlightened in some other film, because this stuff goes back before then. They've been pushing, token orcs are racist. It's taken a long time in order for it to, actually take hold and something to change. But they've been screaming about this for a long time. It's these people are down to their core absolutely racist, because that's what they think of other races.
Well, and that's kind of my point. It's like the fact that, okay, I've been gaming since for 37 years, and I've gamed with all different types of groups, all kinds of different makeups of groups, whatever, even transgenders, females, POCs, everything.
Yeah.
I'm a POC. But
yes, we get it. You're Hispanic. Move on.
Yes,
sorry.
I must show off my Latinness. Anyway,
wait a minute. You're Hispanic? No way.
I am.
Can we get a an applause emoji for the Hispanic in the room, please? Thank you.
Does this make me the token Hispanic?
Orderly.
It doesn't sound like applause.
Orderly.
I like
But we're
it.
still all toxic males here because there's no
for me.
female representation.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
We're just dumber than a bag of hammers.
These clips are great.
Oh wait, here's my favorite.
I like you. You have balls. I like balls.
I love that one too. So anyway, like I've been telling people, I'm like, that says more about these people than it does about the actual players, because there's no players I know of that think this. It's like it's like a meme I posted up the other day where it has Slowpoke Rodriguez pointing a gun at the cat, and the cat has white people who are being offended on behalf of my race, and then Slowpoke Rodriguez is holding up the gun and it says POC.
Doesn't that seem to be the entire case for all this? The only people that are actually offended are basically white liberal women in university. That's kind of right around that age.
You left out the word ugly. Ugly white.
Ugly.
Liberal.
You forgot the blue-haired land whales.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does the hair have to be blue? Can it be green or any other color?
Any sort of color that's not natural.
Rowan, what color's your hair?
The thing that bothers me
it's a
with
warning sign, like one of those colored frogs. It tells you it's poisonous and stay away.
Yes.
The thing that bothers me the most about this whole orc thing and generalizations, they're fictional characters. They're not even real. They're imagination. If you think when you're looking at it, let me finish. Give me one sentence. What I'm trying to say is they're fictional. They were made up. It doesn't matter if they're in the movies or they're brought to fruition later on in motion pictures or TV. They're fictional for one reason. They're just there for fantasy, for escapism. If the person on the other side is seeing them as a representation of another race in real life, that's not the orc's fault. That's the idiot who's being racist and not realizing that they're being the racist.
Right.
How do you associate a green giant elf sharp-toothed monster humanoid form as a colored person?
I have no idea. I've never done it.
Right there. That's the clear sign. The orc isn't the problem. It's their views on what they relate races in real life to and fantasy characters. So they're literally saying that they're sharp-toothed, troglodyte-style warriors, and they must be canceled. Why? So you feel less uncomfortable when you see something you're automatically thinking a colored person? Why should a whole genre change because you're the one that's racist?
Oh, right. The other thing they just did too, they made for the first time ever a wheelchair accessible Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh God!
Dungeon.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I can't wait for for the Mario Kart version of Dungeons and Dragons. I really can't.
They actually
It'll just be wheelchairs and wizards. That's what I'm going to call it.
I've actually been seeing miniatures because I'm a miniature painter. I've been seeing miniatures with wheelchair-bound dwarves and humans and everything else. Sword in one hand, wheeling away, and I'm just kind of like, really, guys?
Like, okay, so I don't know if anyone actually in a wheelchair, disabled like that, was going out there saying, I want to do this in this world. When I play a role-playing game, I want to be something that I'm not. And, go in being a wizard or some barbarian that's, cutting people in half. I'm not thinking like, yeah, let's make this a wheelchair that, like, how is that? It's a fantasy game where you can make up anything. Why not make your legs work?
Okay, now here's where I'm going to tie it all back together. Okay, a lot of people these days, a lot of youngsters, as they really don't have imaginations. So as what they tend to do is they self-insert a lot more, and unfortunately, they project that into their characters. They project that into the things they see on TV and everything else, and that is where we're getting all of this. I'm offended because I'm personally in this and I don't like it.
Oh, yeah, we see that in the comics all the time.
Exactly.
The main character is themselves, and then they're portrayed as being, perfect in every single way, the smartest. There's no flaws there, and it's boring, and then it collapses.
Yes. That's what's happening. You're getting kids who are self-inserting, and they're like all about, oh, well, I'm in this, so my character needs to be like this, or my character needs to be like this. How come this character isn't in here and isn't represented? How come I can't be in this because I'm not represented?
Yeah.
And I just want to point out that for those of us that are juvenile, all we heard was self-inserted.
Okay, let's go back. Let's take it out of the orc. If you want to talk about self-insert, let's look at. My name is Mandy, Starfire's daughter. That was definitely inserted by that writer of a glad garbage bag who hasn't put down a chocolate bar and seen what.
That's exactly who I was talking about for the comics. Yep.
Starfire is one of the most beautiful heroines in the DC universe.
And before that, there was Gotham High.
I love Hummer. Is my mic cutting out?
No, it's quite loud.
And it's at the point now where we can't have any beautiful woman in our fantasy now. We can't have them in the past issues because they're trying to take them away.
Well, that's because, body dimorphism is a real thing, and a lot of people hate themselves and they hate the way they look, so they think that their self-insertion character needs to look ugly or look like them too.
No, okay, but boo fucking who? I hate myself, and other people hate themselves or certain parts of themselves. They don't go out to go, give me Luke Skywalker. I want to make him do a transgender rock who likes to fuck toasters.
Ew.
Do you have any experience? No, but I'll call you a racist if you don't.
That may also be true, Darius Munchausen.
You know what I mean, though, right?
I'll go back to what he said, Mr. Tickle Trunk, or they're trying to purge the guilt of purging the sins of others. Yeah.
But they don't. So you think this is also could stem from the fact they want to? They're not just doing it for themselves. They think they have to stand up, like they stand up for other communities, like they're like the male.
Oh, they absolutely believe that. These
are people
of other cultures and other races are require them to stand up for them.
I know it's the most racist thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're right, because here it is. It's people without purpose that think that the one thing that can give their life meaning and value is to defend others that are being oppressed or under the foot of some sort of higher power. And now at the point where some of those people are saying that they are the higher power, so they're the ones that are at fault, and they're going to try and change their ways. Yet they don't do anything anyways, other than call out platitudes, if you will.
Yeah, platitudes.
And use ad hominem. And it's basically, what's the least you can do to try and think you're making a change? And that's by basically pointing and shouting at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Tickle Trunk, I actually brought that up a little bit earlier, that these people that are on the far left are using tactics that were created in the 80s by people who didn't have social media. Was the religious fundamentalist right that were attacking music, games, TV, everything.
Everything was Satan.
Maybe it's the devil.
Yeah, but then
maybe
after
it's
Columbine,
Satan.
And then it happened with Columbine right afterwards. They tried to do it again.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it is still the same fucking tactic. It's the same mindset. It's just one religious belief system over another religious belief system.
Yeah, it really has.
Because
they have their own
these are
original
not
sin.
liberals. These are not Democrats. These are fucking leftists who this is their religion. Their socio-political belief system is their religion.
That's sad.
And it's not just a in this country kind of thing too. Evidently, it's pretty prevalent
It's
in
all
the
over,
UK
yeah.
and everywhere else too. Because I mean, look at the BBC with Doctor Who. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it got some sort of Radio Times award. It's like, oh my god.
Really?
like,
that
what?
season? That was a
Mo-
terrible season.
Wait a minute, what did he get a reward for? Making those people across the world fall asleep?
I don't know. Star Wars Girl posted it today, I think.
We got a RadioCast award for making people turn off the TV and listen more to the radio. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, Doctor Who does have deserve one reward. It is the one show that has caused the most TV subscription cancellations in the UK, probably.
oh yeah, they suspended their TV license. Yeah.
And Fat Steven, this is kind of like what I was sharing with you yesterday.
Don't tell them what you were sharing.
No, not the dick pics. Come on now. No, it's just like you can't give any kind of honest criticism of any of this stuff either, because if you do, you're labeled an ist or a phobe of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, I don't like this character. Well, you're just a phobe. No, actually, I have some specific problems with this character as they're developed, as they're built, no. Well, you're just a phobe. You're just a phobe, and you need to go die.
Okay, I'll go die.
Yeah, it's a big issue, especially I remember growing up, and when I'd watch Blade, I didn't watch it thinking, "Oh God, I wish Blade looked like me." It was no, this is an awesome character that's kicking ass as a vampire hunter,
I saw it just 4 times in the theater. It was awesome.
Yeah, I pictured a vampire hunter like, oh, maybe I could be a vampire hunter, but I didn't go trying to, cancel Blade like, oh, you have to make him look like me. Like, no, I just wanted to be Blade. I wanted to be a vampire hunter. That was it.
And speaking of that, Yeti, have you not noticed who they got to write the new Blade that's coming up?
Oh yeah, I do not like what's going to happen with this movie, because Blade was one of my favorites growing up, and I think it's going to get butchered hard. Plus, I think they're going PG-13.
Oh, come on. Watchmen won all those awards, though.
No, okay, we have to differentiate for anyone that doesn't know. Watchmen, the HBO show.
Yes.
Not the actual movie, which I did quite enjoy, but it was
Just
a
call
fun
it Watchmen
movie.
TV.
Yeah.
Yes,
But the
the
actual
HBO
HBO TV show that got pats on the back for, I don't know,
The show that
being able
didn't
to
do
tie their-
anything.
yeah, they were able to tie their shoelace and they got an award for it.
The check marks. They hit the check marks. That's all they did.
Well, they checked the boxes. Yeah, they checked.
And that's why the Golden Globes and the Oscars, all that stuff is such a joke now. It's because anybody who has a modicum of sense and can read between the lines is kind of like, why am I watching this? This stuff is so political. It's like not even worth it.
Well, I would say this: like my experience with those award shows, is I equate them to what they really are. They're an in-house, office Christmas party essentially.
Yes.
It has enough backing behind it that yes, it can help people from other countries and whatnot. But really, it's very, very internalized. And the only people I know that actually in the business that actually care about it are the ones that have literally just started getting into the industry, where they talk about like their screenplay they're writing, and like the new directors and producers like, oh yeah, this is totally Oscar worthy. It's like, yeah, you don't want to be chasing an award. You want to be, chasing after and beating at the race, like the best movie that's hit the box office recently that everybody's talking about and wants. You want to dominate the conversation with some great quality stuff. Like that's what the lesson you have to learn in Hollywood. But not a lot of people do. I know actors in their 60s who desperately want an award. And I'm just like, why? Your career is better than any award you'll ever get. I mean, like people are going to know your name for generations after you're gone. Why do you want a piece of trophy you can't take with you in the afterlife or anything like that? It's
especially not an award by today's standards. I mean, come on.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, it means nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't meant anything for at least 40 years anyways.
It's like a participation trophy now.
Yeah, well, you have to pass the purity test before you're allowed to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, nobody sounded like a Nazi until you said that. Nice.
Okay, you just demonetized our stream. Thank you, Gary. Gary ruins everything.
No, it's not a monetized channel, so we're okay.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
That sounds like a new T-shirt. Gary ruins everything.
Yay!
Yay!
Wait, I had a question for Yeti quickly. When you said when you played like you're designing your characters and you want to escape because you want to play as something else, is that where you go to play to be funny?
He's kind of funny.
I know I was saving that one, but he I can hear him going, "That was the good one."
That's true too, though. I have friends who play with role-playing games with me too, and they don't want to play humans. I mean, and I've asked them before. I say, "Well, how come you don't want to play humans?" Because I play a human every single day of my life, dude. I don't want to play one in my fantasy game. I'm like, okay.
Well, it's about escapism.
It is. It's about
Keith and I
escapism.
talk about that a lot. It's like movies. They forget that they really were created for escapism.
Exactly.
Sure.
And somewhere along the line, these people forgot that it's about escapism. They're like, oh no, we need to bring all these things into the forefront of reality. It's like now it's all intruding on all of my fantasies, my video games, my role-playing games, my films, my TV shows. And it's just like, no. I'll go back to my fucking Blu-ray collection and watch all the shit from the 80s and 90s when shit was good.
Well, it's why they're losing money.
Thanks for stopping in Culture Casino.
They're missing out on the concept of what the escapism is. I mean, if you want regular escapism or pure entertainment, you're basically just going to get a show that's the equivalent of keys dangling on an end of a chain. What you want is something that's compelling, that pulls you in. I mean, the origin of story in itself comes from education, basically sitting around the campfire saying, I hunted the saber-toothed tiger today, and that's why Dave is no longer here, because the tiger was eating him, and I was stabbing the tiger. And so that's why you always have to hunt with a buddy. If I didn't hunt with a buddy, I would have nobody. I wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be eating this meat. And that's kind of like the basics, the fundamental of it. But what ends up happening, at least within the last generation, is they're taking the concepts of sharing an experience and telling it in an interesting way to preaching. And that's why it's no longer entertainment. It's because you are being lectured by the writer, the director, and the actor of a certain specific point, and it's not actually a debate or a conflict between different opposing sides. It's basically saying, this is what's right, we're telling you what's right, we're going to go in this direction to prove to you that's right by making everyone else around the argument that would be wrong the worst and most pathetic people ever, so that there's no way they could actually win. And that's not how you actually create drama or even a compelling argument to whatever point you're trying to make. You want to make sure that whatever point you're trying to make is going up against the best possible counterpoint ever, and you're using, experience, logic, understanding, rationality to overcome that obstacle, and exploring all the possibilities so that whoever is watching is, number one, entertained, and number two, maybe will take an interest in doing their own research themselves on the subject matter at hand. And
Here's
that's where you get that
good advice for this show.
Here's my question for you, Script. Do you think they are doing this intentionally? That they're setting up it the way that you just said, or are they doing this out of fear? Because if they take a step in any other direction, they're going to hit a landmine of social media outrage.
They got to learn to ignore social media outrage and just be what they are, a company that provides and produces films, TV, or any type of media, and not listen to the mass 2%. Go with what they think is a good story, produce something that is a good story that can entertain people, and say F to the people complaining, because there's a lot less people complaining than there is people actually liking it.
Oh, and if I may segue for just a moment, getting back to that anal insertion thing, Jerry. Back in the Middle Ages, this is the historian in me popping up because it triggered. They actually did believe that medicine could be inserted anally, and so they invented what was called a clister, and they would put that up your sphincter, and then they would literally try to ram herbs, drugs, and food up through your anus in order to try to
suppository
feed you or cure
assistant.
you. Yes. Anyway, sorry.
Why?
I had to get that off.
Why?
I had to say that.
Thank you for putting that in my brain now.
It's
Does anyone go out for dinner later?
Thanks for doing that. And who the fuck is Jerry?
Yeah, I don't know, Jerry.
We've had some really great comments, guys. I wish I could read them aloud, but the dais, we get so caught up in these conversations
Yeah.
that it's impossible. So I put them up there hoping you guys
Wait.
will see them.
Yeah, but before we segue into anything else, like this goes directly hand in hand with what we were just talking about. Look at how Burger King handled themselves today. Well, I'm not going to go into the fact that people are saying they apologized. Let's miss all that. Burger King nailed it perfectly. They used an old-time meme, aka joke, saying women belong in the kitchen, and then underneath it, in their own replies, they followed up with 20% of our staff in the kitchen are only
Yes,
male. We
I
want
was
to
talking about that. Yeah. Hey, I'm hosting. Fuck you. I'll mute your fucking mic.
Not you. I
Show
not
you what it's
you.
like.
Not you. I just put my toe in a thumbtack because my comic.
Oh, you're fucking weird. Why would you do that? Stop hurting yourself. Self-harm is bad.
Well, it's better than
Hey,
me.
don't kink shame people.
What I'm trying to say is they nailed it properly. They used the cancel culture crazies as a way of publicity, and they did a great thing. Honestly, I found it smart as hell because they proved
very
the point
clever. I
that they will
agree.
they will attack something before they actually read the whole story.
Yes.
They
I
gaslighted
read
the
the
cancel
follow-up
culture.
tweets, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. They're doing a culinary scholarship for women, so that they can get more people
Yeah.
like women involved in culinary. But I'm like thinking, yeah, but Burger King's not culinary in any way, so I hope they're not trying to say they're going to be hiring more women intentionally for the.
No, but it's like the McDonald's and their scholarship program. Like what they did was smart. They got a whole bunch of eyes on it. People didn't read the way through the crazy ones, and then when they actually read through it, they realized that they put all these stupid tweets out. They continued with their craziness. But guess what? Probably millions of people went to Burger King today going.
Not only that, the
And
tweet
Rowan
itself
is
was
right.
not even ratioed.
They took a page from Wendy's and the way they post on Twitter. 100% agree.
I prefer nihilist Arby's, but that's just me.
You like?
Oh, why would you want to punish your stomach like that?
Well, we already know he likes to punish his asshole, so it kind of goes hand in hand.
From both directions, we're gonna.
I think he's offering to punish your ass.
Yes, I can. Get me two of those French dips. Oh, yeah. They're so long.
Hey, T-shirt, can you bend over and start humming? It's silver and gold at a medium pace. I'm coming in, brother.
I want you to dip your sandwich in my au jus
And
sauce.
to Keith's parents that are watching, I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I keep forgetting you're here. Keith, so
He's like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Burger King stuff. You want to comment? Say something family related.
You
you blow me
would
up,
never
Clifford?
see. You would never see anyone that owns a soul food joint do that. But I just want to say this. Hats off to Burger King for trying something outside the box. So,
Can you? There you go. No, blow me up. Blow me up. Seriously, blow me up. Blow
Okay, did Burger King actually apologize for that tweet?
I am the crow.
I haven't seen it, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, they posted a tweet saying we've taken it down because there are a lot of hurtful comments, but we stand by the culinary scholarship.
Do you think that was their plan the entire time? Because they knew people are going to go crazy?
Maybe.
I think so.
As a genius once said, there's no such thing as bad press.
I suggest the crow says go to Burger King. Fill out one of those applications today, and it doesn't matter if Billie Jean ain't your girl.
And that genius clearly hasn't been sat on by you.
No, just like no one sat on your face.
Oh,
and Rowan
just
says
catch
she
that now?
hates you, Steven.
You don't, because the head fits so perfectly on that body, which creeps me the hell out.
Let's see, work in fast food, women tend to want to work the front, and guys, and that's true. When I worked at McDonald's, there was only 2 females I worked with that worked in the grill with us. The rest of them wanted to work the front.
Well,
Guess
that's where the
why?
tips are.
Because nobody wants to deal with the fucking customers.
Well, no, there's a lot more. There's biological tendencies towards this. And Jordan Peters got raked through the coals for even discussing this stuff. But there's in general, men on average want to work with things and ideas. On average, women want to work with people. And so then you see that type of disparity in industries. So you'll see more male engineers, you'll see, more women nurses, more women teachers, people, very people-oriented things. And if given choice, that disparity actually increases. So it would make sense that you would see more females wanting to work the cashier rather than and deal with the people rather than the men that just want to be busy working on the things in the back, like tinker with that type of world.
Well, not only that, on regards to like the food industry stuff, and I know this because I did some research on this for a sitcom. Most managers and most company owners want to put the women up front because they're usually the most pleasant to be representing the company.
Yeah,
and it's more welcoming, more pleasant, more appealing to the eyes, especially. That's why you see like a company like Hooters. I mean, if all the if there were waiters instead of waitresses, that wouldn't work out too well, would it?
Bad example.
I think.
What is this, and what are you sharing?
We are going to quickly take a 2-minute break and laugh a little. Are you guys okay with
the
that?
video, or do I won't want to be flagged?
Before you do, hold on a second. Move, share screen. I wanted to share this image. Who remembers this?
Roy Rogers. I remember that.
I remember those.
That was my last fast food restaurant I worked at as a teenager. And I freaking loved their roast beef sandwich, dude. I fucking loved that restaurant. And they still exist. They still exist, but you only find them in the Central, East, and Eastern states.
Of Asia.
And Asia?
Oh, no.
Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, Roy Rogers in China is very well known for their rice cannoli and roast beef.
Oh, my God.
I can't even make fun of the accent.
Shut up.
Yeah, jeez.
Here we go. Go ahead.
Oh, my toast.
Let it rip.
I love you, Gary.
Didn't see you there. Me and my buddy here have been expecting you. My sticky buddy, Sully here with the... Oh, excuse me, I've got some pussy hair on me. Check that shit out. It's a sticky roller designed to clean up any mess. Poodles, pussies, people, you name it. Use it as a back scratcher. You can rinse it off, dry it off, jerk it off. I don't care what you do with it or where the hair even came from. Silks, suedes, swag. Ladies, I don't care how smelly or hairy your carpets are. My rubber fingers get in there deep. Just rinse it off for a nice beverage. Wipe it off. Oh, there we are. Do all kinds of shit with it. Aren't you tired of ripping your hair out because you're trying to drive and the kids are making a fucking mess? You'll be making so much money, it pays itself off. Ooh, precious food. That's good. Thanks, buddy. Everybody has an evil cat or an annoying dog. Use it to groom them, or even yourself.
That's what I'm talking about. Wow!
Normally, a sticky is $20, but a sticky buddy is only $10.99. You'll also get a cover. You gotta use protection. Even if it's a quickie, wrap that sticky. Stop rolling up your money with those old lint rollers. The fuck is wrong with you? Check out the suggestively sized sticky buddy. You're gonna want to stroke it, but not too much. It'll make a mess. Hide it in your purse. 007, leave it somewhere as a pleasant surprise. And like I said before, I have magic rubber fingers that get deep into your hairy cracks. Get some buddies for just $10.99. But wait, there's more. If you have jumbo-sized pubes, we got a jumbo-sized sticky bunny. Who let Spider-Man in the house? The cat's flipping turds everywhere. Who keeps flicking their boogers under the bed? But you know what? The hair that you find is yours to do with as you please. Why not make a toupee? Or break out the turbo snake? All of these guys will be your buddies with their rubber fingers for just $10.99. Ask about free shipping. Now get out of my house. Isn't that right, Mr. Wuss Wuss?
Okay, I got a joke to tell based on that one. That's good.
That was a good one, right?
That was a great one.
I actually bought that fucking thing.
I laughed my ass off.
Does it still stick?
That thing didn't last more than a couple weeks. What a piece of shit.
You're using it on the wrong kind of hair.
He was probably on his belly.
It doesn't say that.
So this guy goes into a barber shop, and while he's getting his hair trimmed, and the barber notices that he's got some golden curly hairs in his beard, and the guy says, "Oh, well, you know, I kissed my wife on the head before I went to work today," and the barber just grins at him and says, "Well, that doesn't explain why you have shit on your necktie."
Ooh, jeez.
Again,
Sorry,
we
Mom and
apologize.
Dad. So sorry.
Well, thank you for that. That was a little laughing humor. But
You have no sense of humor.
Whew. Well, hey. Welcome back to the show, everyone.
well, that was the 20 minutes, but good. Okay. You have the floor, Keith. Go for it. Everyone else is like still going. What the hoot was that?
Yeah, I'm handing over to you, Keith. You just talk about whatever the freak you want to. You actually, I want to point out that Keith had something that he wanted to bring up in the show. We talked about it before the show. It deals with Warner Brothers and Walter Hamada. So, what did you find out?
Well, it looks like Walter might be out the door, and I gotta say, I personally am of the opinion that Walter Hamada's plan is a good plan.
Who's Walter
But
Hamada?
that the problem, he is the head of DC.
Oh,
films
At Warner Brothers.
At Warner Brothers.
Gotcha.
His biggest problem is the fact that he is really good friends with Toby Emmerich, and that he's spent his time just basically, doing whatever Toby says, and he supports Toby fully. If Walter Hamada's gone, he probably should thank Toby for losing his job, because Toby has pretty much supported him in everything that he's wanted to do. But I will say that Walter's plan of having everything just be a separate entity within all of this, making separate DC films, I personally think is a good idea. And it's something that I think the MCU will eventually get around to doing themselves anyway.
The problem is Hamada surrounded himself with the wrong fucking people to do the job correctly. And so, as much as that sounds cool to me, which I said to you earlier, I'm still good riddance to Hamada. We need somebody else managing and put in other managers.
You need to bring in someone. You really need to bring in two people. Okay? You need to bring in someone, first of all, who is very familiar with how a studio system works and can work with the people, with the executives, and with the creative talent. The second person that you need is someone who is very, very familiar with the IP that you are running. In this case, DC. You need these two people to pretty much open up what DC has and allow filmmakers to go wild on this stuff within reason. We can't. Warner Brothers cannot continue to go how they have been up to this point.
No, because they're hemorrhaging money. Same thing with CBS. But before we continue, because I want to show you guys what Mikey Sutton from Geekosity shared with Keith and I, and with Midnight's Edge. I'm going to share the screen here. There we are. Yeah, that works.
Love Midnight's Edge.
Some HBO Max subscribers were able to access the first hour of Zack Snyder's Justice League when trying to watch Tom and Jerry. The issue has been corrected, sadly.
Oh, no.
But I think that's freaking awesome. And that means I believe somebody might have recorded some of this, and we might see a bootleg hit the air.
It's only the first hour, though.
I'll be honest, I really don't give a shit.
I want to add to this, you guys have also heard the news, right? Zack Snyder will be doing a charity stream preventing
there was
suicide.
A terrible accident.
Holy crap.
And T-shirted has left the show.
What I was going to say is Geeks and Gamers have teamed up with Zack Snyder the eve of the Snyder Cut release, and Zack Snyder will be joining the Geeks and Gamers crew.
That's great.
On that stream, let me finish. On that stream for suicide prevention, they've already raised 8,800 out of the 10K, and this was just posted yesterday. It's going to be on Uche's channel. There's going to be auctions and giving away stuff. Of course, a fully, I think, drawn poster or picture that's signed by the whole Justice League cast. So Zack Snyder, the eve of the release, he's going to be on with Geeks and Gamers crew.
That's huge.
That is
awesome.
so
Yeah.
big.
Lethal promoted it on my channel. I did that little cancel culture stream today. I was there when they announced it. But dude, you don't understand. There is so much more stuff from all channels coming across. And people were trying to cancel this stuff, saying you shouldn't be doing it with Geeks and Gamers. But you know what? They're not even looking at the charity and how much money it's already raised in one day.
They
just
don't
wanna
care
cancel
about that.
No,
They've
they
never
don't.
cared about charity.
Well, look, I have to say this. I still think it is embarrassing. Warner Brothers not being as supportive of Zack Snyder's Justice League as I think they should, because this is going to end up being something kind of big.
It is.
Check this comment. Someone on R&B stream said that they watched all 4 hours of the Snyder Cut.
Okay.
Wow.
What'd they say?
Yeah, what did they say, Cavatino? Yeah, Rowan says that's crazy. Sean says, "Can you get autographs from everyone except Flash and Cyborg?"
You have to call him
Very true T-shirt. And Anna begged Ryan to get Henry's number for her. Well, you know that had to happen because that's like one of her big turns.
Yeah. How does she put it? Her uterus explodes every time she
Yes,
walks.
it explodes.
Henry Cavill. So,
But here we go. That person said they enjoyed it. So I'm suspecting it's going to be much better than what we got theatrically.
We're watch partying that. I don't care. I will load up my Discord.
Well, we can
with as
watch
many
it
people as
together
possible.
online or not.
No. I am planning on, like, you guys are all invited, but if we can get people like some of our viewers, we'll figure a way to get the movie, and we'll just fill up my Discord, and then we'll kick everyone out that after it's done, and we can stream it and give our actual point of views while doing it. We can make it an 8-hour stream if we set enough time and have actual people, fans of DC or fans that have been waiting for this, and give their opinion and their excitement or their disappointments. I want to see that live reaction.
Well, that
I'll
drops
take a
Tuesday,
day off
right?
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so damn close.
That's what
Wait,
she said.
you mean tomorrow?
Darius says
No,
the
next
Uterus
Tuesday.
Explosion
Okay, next Tuesday. Okay.
podcast.
What?
Uterus explosion podcast.
I will definitely do it on my channel. I got no problem doing that. But
well, now have you guys seen the exhibit that they have down in Dallas
I'm in Canada.
for
What's up, Tango?
Tringle.
for the for Justice League? They have
No.
an exhibit for those who would be interested in going down to Dallas, Texas. There is an exhibit down there of Zack Snyder's Justice League costumes, photographs, some of which are photographs that have yet to have been released. Some designs. You can see Flash's Nightmare costume and various other things used for Justice League, including the original outline for Justice League 1, 2,
Nice.
and 3. That was the original outline of what they were doing with the story before it got changed.
no way.
It's amazing. It is amazing, some of the stuff that they have down there. If you go to
Sean Crumble
go
is
ahead.
saying he heard the exhibit is closed and no idea of if reopening.
see, there's been a lot of counter stuff reported because there was a guy that had posted the other day that it got shut down, and it turns out it's not shut down. It's actually open. There are people going through it. My only thing is I couldn't track down if it actually cost anything. So, you either hear people going, well, it costs you something, and people saying, no, it's free. The only thing I do know for certain is that they are limiting it to 20 people per group. So you can only go in like a group of 20 at a time to see all of this. But it looks phenomenal. The pictures, everything, just it looks amazing. And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you guys, what do you think's going to happen, or what do you think the impact will be if the movie actually ends on a cliffhanger like was suggested? Do you think that's going to cause more people to step up, or backlash?
What? It's not neither. It's going.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Keith.
No, I was just going to say you got to remember when this was made. If this film had been allowed to come out at the time that it was made, it would have had a cliffhanger anyway. I keep running into people that act like this is something that Zach could have.
What? He was
taken
taken
care
in
of.
with a cliffhanger?
Well, part one at least, because it was
No
supposed to be a two-part
way.
film.
Yeah. And so, I do like the fact that he did put it out there that the sequel was going to be nightmare centric. So those of you that keep going, I'd like to see a whole film of that. Well, guess what? If this thing ends up being a success, you just might get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is that going to end up causing people to continue voicing they want to see more of the Snyderverse, or is WB just going to ignore it and bury it and just kind of piss on fans all over again? Like, well, AT&T.
Well, that part's not up to WB. If there is a sequel, it'll all be on HBO Max. That part's been taken care of. That's the reason why I think AT&T, and I forgot who said this, I think AT&T really is just scoping out how Warner Brothers works before they start going through and firing the rest of the people that they want to get rid of. So
just fire
I'm thinking
everyone.
within another year, I think a lot of the problems with WB will pretty much be something of the past. I think Toby Emmerich. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking, I agree with you. After, I would say by 2022, AT&T is going to start cleaning house, and if J.J. Abrams isn't on that list, then they haven't learned anything, and it's going to be worse for wear. But they're acclimating themselves to the studio system because, again, they're a service provider. Their mantra is everybody who works for them is there to make money, which means that the whole goal is to sell the product to the customer and make sure that they're getting the thing that they want to hold on to for as long as they possibly can. Because that's what a service provider does. They don't just want to sell you something flashy. They're like, we want to make sure this is so good and so useful for you that you're willing to pay the crazy price we're going to put on it. And
we want you back as a customer. We want to keep you for years. We don't want you roaming off to someone else to find entertainment. We want you to be the kind of customer that will choose us every single time. And so for all those people at Warner Brothers that still have yet to get with the program, you, whether you know it or not, are on double secret probation, baby. So your time is coming.
And to that point, AT&T is also going under their own kind of soft civil war inside because they are having memos being passed around with regards to diversity bias and all that other stuff that they're trying to get figured out because there's, as far as I know on the history of the company, there's never really been any sort of egregious form of discrimination or sexism or racism within that world, yet they're sending out memorandums with regards to like negative bias training and all that, or implicit bias training or whatever the heck they call it. And it's like, this is coming out of left field, which means that someone has got inside AT&T with a little bit of influence and is pushing this crap to try and tear them down from the inside out. So they have that front that they have to worry about. So I'm hoping that the board of directors are able to see through that BS and see how it's affected other companies, specifically their competitors who are struggling right now, and pretty much crush it before they end up, being taken over by this new new ignorant concept and end up destroying everything that they currently have their fingers in, because they need all of those businesses that they've acquired over the last few years to be successful.
And I will say this from a geek perspective: if AT&T is able to do this, this will become your new destination for all things geek. As everyone else starts to fall down to whatever they got going on with their individual companies, if AT&T can effectively start cleaning house and get rid of a lot of the BS, they will effectively become your new geek headquarters. Not just for the DC stuff. There's a lot of stuff that, for whatever reason, Warner Brothers is not wanting to deal with. One of them is Babylon 5. That is their own in-house Star Wars that, for whatever reason, Warner Brothers doesn't want to deal with. They do not want to deal with J. Michael Straczynski, who's the creator, and they're just letting it sit.
I have heard
So
he's
how
hard to
long-
work with.
You know what? Before we move in this direction,
go ahead.
I want to talk about not just what we in the dais are talking about, but what's going on in the chat. So I wanted to point out that my wife left, so it's safe to say mean shit about me again.
Wait, we were supposed to hold back?
I wanted it. Yeah, you were supposed to hold back, Steve.
I don't like the cut of your jib, Gary.
I call
Force of Light
shenanigans
Entertainment
on
is-
your wife as a shield.
Oh,
Force of Light, welcome. And Force of Light is joining us for our TGIF show, which is going to be 4 o'clock Central Time on Fridays.
Cool.
I don't know if they'll be with us on this Friday.
No, it's
and
next.
and of course I want Kate there, because I'm look, I enjoy the Sausage Fest when we're all just sitting here, just a bunch of guys talking shit and being gnarly. But I like getting the perspective of some of the ladies, especially nerd ladies.
Oh, and they will fit in. I just did an interview with them on Saturday. They're very quick and they will fit in with our crowd perfectly.
I like
That's
that.
the first thing I said once it ended. I'm like, you have to join us on Raiders or on your Friday night stream because you're going to fit in so well.
And of course,
I have a
Kate-
serious question though. Do they like
Kate
cheesecake?
is cheesecake. Everybody wants cheesecake.
Lactose intolerant.
Kate
though.
will be there. I'm hoping that way we can listen to Steve and her flirt or whatever it is that they do.
What?
What? We don't.
So
it's not true.
You watch
not what I
watch
said.
Steve get rejected over and over. That's what
If I want to get rejected over and over again, I'll just rethink about my high school years. Oh, look, there's a school dance. Let's ask that girl up 5 feet away. Nope, walk into the bathroom, sharp right hand turn.
Now, Tim Tringle Jr. Wish it was getting an IMAX
Dick.
premiere because watching 4x3 on my 65-inch. What is he talking about? His penis?
4x3. So Snyder
screen.
shot
Okay.
it in a
So I'm like, that's a hell of a
in more of
fucking
a
penis.
4x3 setting for IMAX. IMAX isn't really 4x3.
Yeah, it's 65 inches, but I throw it like it's 70.
Oh shit! People just put 38. Okay, I just saw Deathstroke. Oh my god.
Let's see. Shows may be the way to go. Let Ben make his own Batman. I agree wholeheartedly. And of course, Deanna said, I'm going back to work. And script Doctor After Dark. There you go. I think that you should do that and put on a mask and be in a dark room with candles. And it will be so fucking funny.
I don't own candles and I don't have a camera.
Gary, how'd a crusty fucker like you land a nice looking woman like that? Huh? I don't know.
I almost sat on her head when we met. And I'm not kidding. I was drunk.
That's not how you do it, Gary. They're supposed to sit on your head.
Her husband was my agent, and I fired him, almost sat on her head, and then took his wife, and that's how it all worked. No, it's not really what happened. They broke up. Yeah, what is? I am Klingon, and basically we met after they broke up and started going out, and our first date was on Valentine's Day 2019, and we've been together since. I think she's awesome. She's a nerd.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about her is she just, I will say a fucking movie or a name of some actor, and she's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, how the fuck do you not know who Denzel Washington is? Kind of situation. And then Keith and I will be talking. It's like, oh, what's that comic book character's name? And then she'll pipe up and say the name, and I'll go, how can you not know who Denzel Washington is, but you know who that comic book character is? That's our relationship.
Oh shit! Martian Manhunter confirmed.
Let's see.
Don't lie. We all know you did the caveman move, hit her over the head, and dragged her back to her cave.
Don't trust Yeti. He's trying to sucker you in, and then next thing you know, you're ending up in this weird wintry cavern, asked to be singing constant quotes from Silver and Gold and Yukon Cornelius, and there'll be like a Rudolph nose attached to the ceiling.
It's extremely
Elves crying in the corner.
ice cave.
Basically, if
Thank
I don't send the invite, you get the invite. Force of Light. You're going to end up in a horror movie scenario. So don't accept Yetis. Take only my invites to the show.
Yeah. Watch out for him.
Oh, I don't know what I'm trying to do. Your voice, Yeti. I don't.
Oh, I got these girls here that like to agree as quick as I can because I need to get down there and have them on my show because I own the Yeti cast.
I don't know if Yeti's here. Is Yeti even here?
I'm right here.
He's writing. You know that guy from what was it? Billy Madison that had the note of people he was going to get back from high school. Yeah, he's right now writing that list. He's checking it twice. He's going to find out who's.
I think Rowan meant gnarly, which I get. Nearly makes no fucking sense. Mr.
Tickle Trunk.
Mick Tickle Trunk. I'm going to call you Mick Tickle from this day forward. At Darius Munchausen, I swear, if they do fake woke reboot of B5, I'll lose it.
Oh, God. Don't give them ideas.
No, they're not. They are not going to do that. But, I mean, what
I
they
am not
should
too
do
close.
is just go ahead and just extend the series from the point where it left off. Because it's an entire universe. It's not just this one station. It's not just this one story.
Are you hitting your microphone, Keith?
Am I hitting it? No.
I hear the sound of like a microphone being hit. It's really weird, like a
That's
plastic.
not me.
Sound. Okay.
Not me.
That's not me.
Well, anyway, Joaquin, you can have chocolate cheesecake or you can have strawberry cheesecake. Knock the mixing the three things together. That's fucking weird.
If they
and I am a
if-
cheesecake aficionado, and I know how to bake a New York style cheesecake.
the same thing is with Babylon 5. Like, you got to take care because it's not just dealing with the current races and the Vorlons and all like that. You got to worry about the races when it comes to the Shadow War and whether or not they're going back to the first ones. Like, there's a whole storyline with multiple different storylines, as well as how each society interacted, not just with other alien races, but within their own societies themselves. And I don't want Woke 5. I really don't want Woke 5.
I tell you what, though, this is
I'm still trying to do the chat.
Oh,
sorry.
He meant
Remember that time?
The IMAX formatting is close to the 4x3. I get what you're saying. I get you, Tim. Rowan says, "Wow, Gary." I don't know what that's to, but I say fucked up shit.
Yeah,
so.
he does. He does. She knows. You know exactly what it is.
Probably sitting on your wife's head.
Glad I called that guy Billy Madison. Awesome. Joaquin says, "Woke Goonies in 4 years."
Don't give them ideas. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I want to see it
Christ.
transitioning Josie and the Pussycats. That's what I want to see.
They are not smart enough. Yes, they are not smart enough to continue the story of Babylon 5, especially after half the cast now deceased.
Well, some of them have been written as to have passed away anyway. Look, you know how many years it's been since B5 was on the air? I'm not saying that you should go back and try to act like this is a year later or 5 years later. You should go ahead and act like the amount of time that has passed is the same amount of time that it's been. It'll allow you to have brand new characters, but also have those characters with some of the surviving cast members.
Wait, Keith, wait a minute though. They would then have to go off whatever happened with that series where they were trying to do the Technomancer.
Oh God, I hated that show.
Stop! Because that's the last part of the congruent timeline when it has to do with trying to find the thing. So they actually have to follow up that they found the cure or they didn't, or that this is based off the survivors of the remnants of whatever that virus destroyed. I know you might hate the series, but it still is canon and it still is what the last part of the timeline is.
No, Crusade was terrible. It was we don't call it Crusade. We call it Galen the Technomage show.
Well, now,
but it's still canon.
Did you read the books that came out after that?
No,
all of the Babylon 5 related
books.
No, every time I opened a page, some weird kind of Technomage spell came out. It was really weird.
Yeah, there is a whole thing related to how they did. It is assumed that they did find the cure. They've never really put that to film, so that's what I would like to see. But there is a post B5 Crusade world and universe and characters that they did allude to. So if you go ahead and just do that, I think you could bring in something and have the kind of writing and have the kind of acting that you're currently not getting for Star Trek. That's all.
Oh, speaking of which, yeah, that's one of my ideas too for B5. Why don't we get Alex Kurtzman to head it up because he's been so successful with Discovery?
What? So he's gonna rip out? No.
Because J. Michael Straczynski beat him with his own arm.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and I wasn't aware of this, that Straczynski was involved with early building of what would become Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that's been contended for quite a bit, actually.
Well, that was, what was told to me the other day by one of our regulars, and I was like, really? I was unaware of that. So I wanted to bring it up here because Keith should know something about that.
Well, I myself had heard, but I'd never really heard anything confirmed. My experiences with B5 and Straczynski have been mainly from, a lot of the stuff that he's talked about, the stuff that he's brung up. This guy had ideas for days. And I will say this, the idea of having someone whose sole job is to double check, triple check, quadruple check everything that you do, and having that person be someone that was an actual author, was a creative themselves, is genius. Because nobody else does that. Discovery does have somebody that's in charge of checking things, but they're not an author. They were never really a creative.
They got Christian Beyer on there, who is an author. She wrote a whole bunch of Voyager books for Discovery, but the thing is, I don't think they're just listening. I don't think they listen to her.
No, they don't listen to her. And again, it's B5 is one of those properties that you just have to just shake your head and go, why aren't you guys doing something with this? Because it's not as messed up as Star Wars currently is, and as Star Trek already is right now. We are getting ready for the final season of The Expanse. Okay, The Expanse is going to end. This would be the perfect series to take over for all those fans of The Expanse that are going to be left wanting to a certain extent. So, because I don't believe they're going to wrap up all of the storylines from the books.
You basically pull a Battlestar Galactica, when they redid their stories and picked it back up, and it ended up being beloved by.
Oh, it was a great series.
Well, the first two seasons are fantastic. It's the last two seasons that are absolutely they dropped the ball because they're so intent on making it a cyclical story. They forget that the most part of the journey is that they're supposed to learn from this event and do things to not repeat it. Yeah. But instead, they listen to Nia Dama, the big idiot of the series, after season 2, and they're like, we'll just start from scratch. We won't build a city. We won't maintain repositories of our experiences and education so that we can prevent creating Cylons all over again. No. We'll just start from scratch, and we'll listen to Baltar about boning the local natives. Like, come on. Like, that's where you lose. That's how you basically stumble a landing. And that's because of that, Caprica failed. And I remember how hyped people were for Caprica at the time before that last episode aired, and how the studios were really excited for this series because they figured it was going to be great, like the dawn of Cylons, the beginning of the war.
Well, they also really watching Caprica was pretty rough. They screwed up the creation of the Cylons.
I never even bothered to watch.
It was I tried and I could not get into that at all.
No, because it's done by the same people who were working on season 3 and 4 of BSG, and they burned themselves out or lost focus of what they were trying to do, and it just rippled.
Yeah, so there's a double action why Caprica failed. But they could do that with this. As long as they stay away from any of the woke stuff, just go hard in the story, reimagine it for or just elevate it to today's technology to show that story going forward. I think you'd be successful.
Someone drinking through a straw?
I think that was
heard
a
it
chair.
too. I don't know who it was. I think it was a chair.
But that does remind me of something. Okay, was anyone ever a fan of Static Shock growing up?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
that
okay
show
show.
was great.
Okay.
That was like the same time as
I loved that
Mask as well.
So
I was more a fan of the comic than the show, but I mean, it's all good.
Okay, so what they're doing now is a writer has rebooted Static Shock so that they got their powers at a Black Lives Matter rally.
I don't think
Why?
Dwayne McDuffie would be too happy about that.
No,
Yeah.
he wouldn't.
Oh my god, that's almost as bad as what Spider-Man and the Miles Morales. If you two finish the BLM quest, you not only get a wicked suit, you'd have a billboard up in a digital city that you're only going to see once.
But that was a story that I know transcended any race. Like I loved watching that. I know so many kids that loved watching that, and the entire show it did. You know, that was almost social justice done right, because it had good messaging in the show, but it wasn't smacking in the face and talking down to you. But now with the direction that they're taking this new adaptation, like, is it just going to butcher that past?
That's a
Definitely
good
take the
question.
character, and I really hope that McDuffie's estate and his family are just as kind of clairvoyant about things as he was to a point, because he just raised more questions with regards to the concept of perception of black people within comics and within society overall. He didn't want to make a 100% pontification point. And what I really liked about the Milestone comics between Icon and Rocket was that, you know, Icon believed in the good of humanity, and he had to learn that there was some prejudice, but he also learned that it wasn't implicit. It wasn't a broad stroke across everybody. And at the same time, because of that, he was also able to teach Rocket the other stuff as well. It's like, yeah, not everybody is going to, just because he's a white cop doesn't mean he's going to shoot me. And she's like, well, yeah, he is. And then you see situations where that were true, and then you'd also see situations where that weren't true. And that was like kind of the coolest little parts of those comics on the political side of things. The other adventures, them going up against crazy villains and you know, saving people and working as a team, that was what really sold the books for me, and that my interest in it, because the artwork alone for Icon, like this big burly guy, red suit, he's got this cool cape and a ring in the center. Like, I thought that was cool. That's what made me want to pick up the book. And the fact that it had a good story that was interesting made me keep reading until, you know, the comic book shop stopped selling them, because I was the only guy buying them.
Well, and that's the thing. Icon is a phenomenal character, really, that should have already have been a film by now. Warner Brothers, if they were operating correctly, if Walter Hamada had been listening, that should have already have been a thing.
Oh, man, I think Jamie Foxx would make a great Icon.
I see a recurring theme.
Well,
Only
actually,
Walter Hamada.
I believe Michael B. Jordan picked it up and is trying to develop a movie.
Actually, he's trying to work with them to do a Static Shock movie and an Icon movie. I personally think that Michael B. Jordan would make a better Icon, because he's in
tiny
shape
though.
to
He's
do
like
it.
5'4". Like, the guy's short.
He's a midget.
Is he?
He's not a big. I mean, he's not a big man. I mean, he's muscular and fit and looks good in a superhero costume, but they have to do some, like, you know, forced perspective to make him look like the size of Icon.
Yeah,
Wow.
There would be a lot of.
He's not a big guy. Like, John Boyega and him are comparable in height. John Boyega is not a tall man either.
What about
would you say
Chadwick
they'd have
Boseman? Was he tall?
He's dead.
Chadwick
Well,
Boseman.
I know he's
Well, I
dead,
mean,
but was he tall when he was alive?
not really. No, I think he was like 5'8".
Is this the article you want me to share, Yeti?
Yeah, that was the one going through. That was just one of the ones about how his powers are coming from, you know, this protest stuff, and you know, it just kind of goes against everything the character was before, and it's cringeworthy. It didn't need this type of thing.
He literally became woke.
Yeah. I don't think any kids are going to gravitate towards this now. No one's going to want to pick up this comic that's going to tell them they're horrible.
I don't know. Some people like self-deprecating comics.
Rowan, how tall are you?
We represent the
Lollipop League.
Yeah, like don't listen to the height they see on like IMDb and stuff. They always add like 3 or 4 inches on people.
Sean says Stalin is short too.
Stallone is
You know,
short.
Stallone?
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger's,
I'm assuming that's
You
what he
call
meant.
Stallone Stalin? Really?
Stalin. Well, he was the Italian stallion.
Your man card has been revoked for that.
What, for pointing out that he misspelled it?
It's Stallone. You should know it's Stallone.
I knew it was Stallone, but you fuckers talk over me. So I'm going to jump on this before. Yeah, shut up.
The sad thing is Steven Seagal really is tall.
We love you.
I love you too.
I know I'm tall.
He's like 6'3" or some shit.
She says she's tall. And Sean says, I'm working. Stop making fun of my bad spelling. What do you do for a living there, Sean? I'm a writer.
You're going places, Sean. I miss Shane from that one episode with that Midnight's Edge. I miss Shane already.
Damn it, Shane.
Damn it, Shane.
Come back, Shane. Come back.
I'm still upset that every episode of Picard I've seen on that marathon, Professor X was never in his wheelchair. I'm very upset about that.
I hated that show. Picard destroyed everything that I loved about that character, and I grew up. Literally, I aged up with TNG, and TNG was my favorite of all the Star Treks. And then when I had to watch, well, I didn't have to, but I watched Picard, and I was just like, why are you doing this to me?
Because they can.
Because they can.
And they hate.
Well, they want to destroy the past. Like
they did.
Yeah.
I can't watch TNG now and think, oh, look, there's Picard, the guy who becomes a complete apologetic, and, you know.
Well, and it goes against the entire point of the series. It's like they didn't watch their own series for the way that they're dealing with all of the characters and all the situations when it comes to synthetics and laws and ethics. They just throw that out and then drop a bunch of F-bombs and, call that edgy and people are going to like it. Like, screw off.
Yeah, and I don't get that because it's like, okay, the Picard I remember from TNG was willing to stand up to Starfleet whenever he saw injustice. He was willing to stand up for anybody. He was going to get in anybody's face who threatened his people, his beliefs, any of that shit. And then we see him in the future, and suddenly he's done a complete 180. And
he's willing to resign, which he would never do.
Yeah. I can't see Picard just giving up.
He's not the Picard. He's not. Okay. I keep saying this over and over again. Let's go into one thing. Was it Tapestry of Makes Him a Man, where Q tests him and gives him the opposite life? He's gets stabbed for the heart, and then pretty much the saying goes like this: "I refuse to die on the table as that man I once saw. I would rather die. I refuse to live the life of the man I just saw. I would rather die on that table of the man I am." That's the first clue of Picard. And secondly, if Picard got to that point, Q would have stepped in and gave him a slap in the face with some kind of weird test of humanity like he always does, and he would never have reached that type of man.
Agreed.
This series is not writing for the characters. It is writing to piss people off. It is a Rian Johnson series. I'm going to leave it at that. It is bullshit. It
totally is.
Factual sense. It has no respect. It has no relevance in writing because 90% of it has been taken, stolen, or plagiarized from an indie-developed video game, Andromeda, and everything else in the fucking sun. Kurtzman Trek is not Star Trek. Kurtzman is something you wipe your ass when you figure out there's still corn coming out of it. Fuck Kurtzman.
And wasn't Picard ready to resign if they weren't going to allow Data his rights?
Yes.
Nope.
He was.
Data was going to resign. Picard was not.
Data was, yeah.
Okay, but there's a point where he would have been, I don't know, demoted or
he has done things that would risk his command, but not and probably get him expelled or ejected from Starfleet. But he's never done anything. He's never voluntarily threatened to say, "I will leave if you don't do this," because Picard is a man of great integrity. It's like if I leave and let you continue to do this, then I'm not around to stop it.
It was you'll have to force me out, but I'm going to do this.
It doesn't even matter though at this point. Picard has done enough everywhere from the Borg to helping everything from negotiations. Doesn't matter that the Romulan thing effed up. Who cares? You're human. It's going to happen. The fact that it refused to give the ships or whatever the F happened, that's on Starfleet's head, not Picard's. So they need the one single white man, the enemy of everything, against all of the things he is good, all the warriors prevented, saving the human race and all of the Alpha Quadrant from that reversed paradox that was destroying everything. So you know what? Kurtzman doesn't care because he doesn't read about it. This whole series is not Trek. Don't even put it in the Trek universe. You want to put it in the Kelvin timeline with JJ's lens flare because that's the only place it fucking belongs. It is garbage.
It is.
It is effing fucking garbage.
Didn't it come out that it is in the alternate universe?
It doesn't even belong there.
It just doesn't belong.
It doesn't. But does that save some of this garbage? That it's not.
Well, it's partitioned. Everything that's Bad Robot and Secret Hideout is not Star Trek core. It's not technically Star Trek canon.
It's not canon.
They pretty much acknowledged that. It took them years to do so, but they've pretty much acknowledged that at this point.
And they created a fake word that they wanted to fool people with, saying Prime.
Yes.
And Prime is not canon.
Heck, they fooled Nimoy with that. I mean, that's what's even worse. They fooled Nimoy with it.
Yes.
Yeah, because technically, if you really want to get, because when I told Gary this, it kind of blew his mind a bit. But if you go back to the 2009,
I never recovered.
See, if you go back to the 2009 Star Trek, and you look at the Spock that they're going to have in the upcoming series that Kurtzman's getting ready to unleash, that's pretty much
New Worlds.
Yeah, that's the Spock that Nimoy is playing the older version of.
The Gregory Peck Spock, yeah. Or not,
yes.
Jonathan Peck. What did that? Graham Peck was not that good at acting.
All right. Hold on. I'm gonna stop a second. Sock bulletins. I'm sorry. That sentence is not fact at all. You can't have Kurtzman and the creative person. That does not work. Because I've seen Clarice. It's garbage. He's not creative. He steals from other properties. That's all he does.
Nobody talks about Clarice. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Strange New World Spock is the Spock that Nimoy is playing in the 2009 Star Trek.
Yeah, the one that grew up with a Michael Burnham sister.
And Darius Munchausen brought it up that Midnight's Edge pulled back the curtain on Trek canon legality. It's 25%.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out one thing with the Clarice is the mainstream media ripped him to
I loved that. I loved it. It was beautiful.
What that says is he's getting on the outs, because otherwise they would have CBS would have been running roughshod to stop that type of article from getting out there. But he's so far down the line and his head is close to the chopping block that these things are allowed to pop up and it just rip him apart. Because they
Kurtzman makes the Osmonds look like a family reunion. I'm gonna leave
I will say this. I do have, though, something that may not make you feel good, though.
Uh-oh.
For whatever happens to Kurtzman, good, bad, whatever, we're going to be living with this for quite a while because of Paramount Plus. They need content badly, and they are willing to do whatever is necessary to get as much content as possible on there. Okay? So, whatever happens to Kurtzman, he could decide to resign tomorrow. That is not going to get rid of all of this stuff. Discovery is going to stay around for at least another season or two. Picard's going to get another season.
There's got to be a lot of people available in order to write something new. I'm sure there's new writer that would
level of gatekeeping that's going on right now. Kurtzman has control of Star Trek on the TV side of things. Bad Robot has control of Star Trek on the feature side of things. However, current regime over at CBS Viacom is not happy with them. We already know that. That is confirmed. They're waiting for the contract to run out. They have to listen to JJ and Bad Robot when they pitch Star Trek films, but they don't have any obligation to greenlight. And Paramount Plus, like Paramount right now, is the only studio that is buying things on spec and actually vetting them for quality that they can actually put into production under a budget and release for their streaming platform, and then other distribution second, third window deals. So they're the only ones that are actually actively trying to search outside of their company for new content, which means that by the time the Bad Robot contract for Star Trek is over and that Strange New Worlds doesn't perform as well as they're expecting it to, which it inevitably will, again, it's Akiva Goldsman, they will be taking and workshopping another variation of Star Trek. Now, it all comes down to who's going to be the named writer or producer that's going to come in there and write the ship for that franchise. We don't know yet. But we do know that Paramount needs to get Star Trek back to its sort of like financially stable condition in order to keep a solid leg under the studio so that it will actually have that continuing revenue. So they know that they have to do that, and they know that they have to kind of get back on track of things. But it's going to be a hell of an arduous task to find that new team that can do for Star Trek what Michael Piller and Ronald D. Moore and Rick Berman and Ira Stephen Bear did in the late 80s and early 90s. It's going to take time. They are going to be very meticulous about it if they're smart. And I think Sherry Redstone and Emma Watts are going to have to, really buckle down and get a good team on their end to find and vet those people in order to do the show justice.
Amen.
They are. Look, I will say this: as unhappy as I am about the end of the show, The Expanse offers an opportunity. Their showrunner is the one that I think I would use to bring Star Trek back, because The Expanse was what Discovery was attempting to do in their third season. That was the show that they were mainly, not the only one, but that was the show that they were looking to try to rip off as much as possible to bring in that kind of feeling. And also, The Expanse also was something that they were looking at when they were making Picard also. So I think that if you bring in that showrunner and you get
talking
rid
about
of
Mark Burgess?
No, I'm talking about what's his name? The guy that runs The Expanse.
Well, it's either Mark Burgess or Daniel Abraham.
No,
because they co-worked on the writers and stuff, because they're the only ones that are credited for all episodes on there, and I don't think Ty Frank is the showrunner. I think he's just
no.
primarily...
The guy that I'm thinking of used to work Star Trek. He was on for both DS9 and Voyager, and many other shows too, of which The Expanse is just part of a long list of stuff that he's done creatively.
I heard that too.
Looking at the list here, I don't recognize names for any of the other Star Trek shows offhand.
Well, I'm going to put in my 2 cents because I think that for a long time, Star Trek has owed an individual an apology and should bring him back, and that's Ron Moore.
Brian Fuller. Oh, Ron Moore?
The Expanse. Yeah, Sean, you're right. The Expanse, the latest season started going off good, and then it turned to intersectional feminism, and I stopped watching. Gary, your brother,
there you go.
Vouch for that. It was good. It was real good. It was doing so well, and then all of a sudden they decided to not focus on the spatial entity that's out there and what's going on. They decided to make it about it's bad. It's so bad. That's why
I want to share this. This looks really cool. They're showing the 2 versions of
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, and I gotta say, blend. I love it.
Yep.
The name of the person is Naren Shankar.
Oh, from Next Gen. I know him. He's okay. He did Almost Human. I mean,
that sounds like one of my little comments.
Good. I think
he's okay.
He's okay, man. Like, I wouldn't put him in charge of Star Trek. I'd make him a staff writer on Star Trek. I wouldn't put him in charge of it.
Yeah, I think that Ron Moore is owed an apology from Star Trek after what was done to him, and I think he would be the perfect guy to bring back into Star Trek and bring in the dark.
And Brian Fuller.
No, I think we're all missing the obvious person here.
I like Brian Fuller a lot, but I don't think he's, because he worked on Voyager and he did pretty well there. I think he's strayed away from going back to that after Discovery, because the ideas that he brought forth in Discovery that I have heard over the transom, I would say are not the best for a Star Trek show.
No, there's still someone else better. We got to put script in charge.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Let's
got to put script in charge.
I'd rather be a story editor on Star Trek than try to run a show.
He would never do it because he'd be afraid to show his face.
Yeah. I don't have a face. I'd be afraid to scare everybody when I go in there and they're like, "Where's your eyes and nose and mouth? How are you talking?"
All right, I want to do a little wrap up here. We have gone 2 hours and almost 15 minutes.
You guys forgot one point from this whole thing, that it's also a possible option. It's also a very scary option. We might have to watch this franchise go Doctor Who and just die out for a few years.
Yeah, because Doctor Who's dead.
I'm talking about Star Trek.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm agreeing, and I'm saying, Doctor Who's dead, and we might need to let it die.
I
Sometimes
thought
you have
they
to do
did
that.
die already. Honestly, I thought Star Trek died.
You don't.
Sometimes
I don't watch
you
it
have to
anymore.
give up the ones you love.
If it died, they wouldn't constantly be announcing new series. Because we still have that Nickelodeon series with Prodigy. And
But
we have all that
nobody's
stuff.
watching. Like
No,
the
it's not
ratings are
out
Yeah, the
yet.
only way
bad.
they could get me to watch was when Tom would ask me to come on and on Midnight's Edge in the morning to talk about the nights before episode. And I'm like, oh my God, you're going to make me watch this. All right. God.
Mhm.
But
I'd be willing to go on to talk Superman and Lois, but not that.
yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's not great. It's just,
Yes.
it's good. It's
It's
not
good.
great.
I would say
You know what?
It's mediocre, and that's actually brilliant for CW.
Well, this
Yes.
falls into the thing that we've talked about before with Eddie Murphy's description of being in the desert and getting a cracker. And
Best
how-
cracker ever.
Best cracker I ever had, is a Ritz cracker. No, that ain't no salty. That's got to be a Ritz, and that's how we are right now. Josh Becker, my writer buddy from Hercules Xena, he also put it as, look, man, if you eat shit long enough, you eventually become a shit connoisseur.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
No,
good
he's absolutely
shit.
right.
And that's mediocre shit. And that's really bad shit. Don't touch it.
That one's got corn.
Yeah, that one's got corn.
The
And
Josh
I always
Becker,
loved his
the guy from
description.
Evil Dead and all the other Sam Raimi
Yeah.
films.
Yeah.
Wow,
I work
I'm
for him.
impressed, dude.
Josh
Oh yeah.
Becker's
So,
a cool
so
guy.
fun fact: the
He's also one of my
showrunner.
closest friends.
So the showrunner of The Expanse, Naren Shankar, wrote one of the worst Voyager episodes ever, which is the Beowulf one. So yeah,
Wow.
he may be good with The Expanse, and he might be able to be crutching on the written novels. I don't want him near Star Trek. I'm sorry. He's
So does this mean you guys know Bruce Campbell too?
I know
I've met him a
Bruce.
few
He's the
times.
one who introduced me to Josh.
Oh man, I love Bruce
Here.
Campbell.
Here. Let me show you. This is his website. I am his webmaster. I don't charge him anything for it. And that's Josh's site, his movies. I do all of his movie posters. I painted those. Designed this one. See, there's my name. Quick links. Art of Gary Cassell. Sorry, that video is no longer available. I have to find out what happened there. Jesus Christ. I hate YouTube. I really hate YouTube. I really do. They called a copyright strike against Josh on his own fucking movie that he fully owns.
What?
Yeah.
How can they do that?
They did it. They do it all the fucking time. I've heard other filmmakers have this shit happen to them. But yeah, this is his website. He does an Ask the Director, so you can go to his website. It's beckerfilms.com. You can ask him a question by clicking here and go here to read the old stuff. I got it in PDF format. He has over 20 years of Q&A. This is all the new stuff. I do all the graphics and shit. I design the website. And it's just one of the things I do for my friends. Now, the fact is he did pay me to design it. I got a good paycheck out of that.
Nice.
But I do not get paid because all the money he had, it's gone. He's broke. He lives job to job. He gets a paycheck from his family for the estate, and his sister is amazing. Even though they used to not get along, she helps him make sure he doesn't overspend.
Can you guys talk for about? Don't close up for about 5 or 10 more minutes because a package arrived and it's.
Oh my God! Please, not a sex toy. I have no time for your shit.
Cool.
No, it's a
sadly-
cancel. It's a canceled action figure, actually.
Oh.
So,
So,
you go get it.
Okay, there
Go-
is
go
actually
get
one thing I
that.
wanted to mention. I have to say I was something of a late arrival to Babylon 5 because the TV show was going on, obviously back when I was around. But I never really got into it, and I always felt like Babylon 5's biggest problem was the fact that it wasn't something you could pick up like midway through the season. It's almost something you had to pick up from the very beginning because there's too much building upon in that show. But,
Yes,
I mean,
and it is one of the most, I'd say, ultimately dense in a good
Yes.
way. As far as all of the supplemental material is all canon.
Mm-hmm.
So all the books, all the comics, it all counts. And so you could have original stories that were put out where you'd be introduced to characters and concepts, and eventually some of those characters would end up on the show.
And see, this is one of the things I'm thinking. I think Babylon 5 was ahead of its time, because the only way I was able to watch it was by getting the DVD sets and then watching it, back to back to back to back. I think if Babylon 5 had been done these days with the binge watch models, it would be through the fucking roof, man.
And
You would
that's,
never
that's
get
the
the
problem
five,
with
the
Warner
4
Brothers.
seasons or anything though. Or no, sorry, I'd never get the 5 seasons on a binge model with most series, which is unfortunate.
I don't know.
Warner Brothers is very look. Warner Brothers does not like doing anything with Babylon 5. Period. They just don't. They bury it. Is really what they do. Even though they have enough material to be able to have an entire universe, just based on the things that they revealed in the books. What ultimately happens with the history of the telepaths and how that links into the final episode of Babylon 5. And on all that stuff is amazing. And you can, if you had somebody that knew all of that and could build off of all of that, you would have something viable that could continue on and make them a lot of money ultimately. They could reproduce the sets. Well, currently I think it's available right now on HBO Max.
Yeah, but how long can they continue things on when every other day a new cartoon gets canceled? Something else is going to come up like, oh, no, that's not good. We have to cancel all of that. Like Pepe Le Pew and Speedy Gonzales are just done now.
Well, that's a different department. Look. If I were an executive at Warner Brothers right now, I would be considered more along the lines of what AT&T is wanting to do, meaning that it is about creating new and or using what we already have. Although my thing would be, don't screw with something that works. Just figure out a way of bringing it back with all new episodes. If you can get the original cast to come back, great. If you can't, fine. Make sure you have enough of a connection, both creatively and more importantly, as far as what you understand of being a fan of the IP, to be able to move everything forward. Not a fan in the fact that you got this IP, but a real fan that understands it. Because
but that doesn't stop the outrage mob that's looking for something to stomp
They can
on.
be, I know, but they can be outraged. They can be outraged.
Yeah.
As long as you're not really doing anything to really put them off, if they're coming up with it themselves, this is what a good PR department and a good this is what you pay people for. Having that kind of money, you got people that can handle those questions. Okay,
Well,
my job would
honestly, I think they just need to ignore it. They don't need to put out PR. You just don't pay attention to the screeching child in the corner. You just
that's
let
right.
them screech by themselves.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah.
Just ignored those people. Oh, do you got your package?
No, I want to be the screaming child. Yeah.
Oh,
And
What'd
you
you get?
failed ignoring him.
I
me guess you get your-
Are we going to see this? What are you going to do?
Well, I would like to talk for a second. I won't put in the box, as you can hear. But a big shout out to Mongo Big Things.
Mongo's the best.
I don't think
seriously.
an
Mongo's a great
unboxing
guy.
works over video or audio.
I love the fact that. Tell us what we got. Yes.
Yeah,
Very
Mongo's
much.
one of the greatest guys out there. Like he'll go to the ends of the earth just to help out a friend.
So he put a lot of rap.
Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. I agree.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I have to plug in the camera. Calm that fuck
Well, what's
down.
in the box?
You know what it is? It's your testosterone, Gary. That's what's in here.
Oh, man, I knew I put it somewhere.
Well, testosterone does belong in a box.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, Lucy, you're so funny.
oh, it's a carrot, dude.
Oh, nice.
And that's a black label. What'd you pay for that?
Awesome. It's from
That is
Killer
gorgeous.
Tits.
Look at
This
that.
is where your stream revenue's been going?
This was sent for free.
Oh, man. That's
No
cool.
way.
Thank you for questioning my monetization, which I have none of. Thank you. Thanks, Mom.
That's pretty amazing.
What are you doing? Can you make the money off this YouTube thing?
Let's look at the Cara Dune again.
Wow.
Focus. Where's your focus?
Focus.
Oh, yes, the focus. Oh,
Focus. Oh, I can see the barbecue
good
stain back
focus.
there. Oh.
Good focus.
That's one of the 3 different variations of it, right?
Yep.
Nice.
So big shout out to Mongo. Big thanks who got that for me free of charge. And
Oh, that was manga? All right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he's
That is
not
so
on
cool.
our chat tonight. That's too bad. We can give him a
I
live
need to make
thank
friends like this.
you. But
I came on YouTube to get free action figures. That's my main goal right here. I don't want to talk to people. Just give me your free figures. I want all the figures sealed, not bent, not crooked, 100%, and in plastic.
Well, hey, I mean, everybody's got to have a goal.
No. But shout out to this guy because they don't make these anymore. And like this looks great.
That is
yeah,
really
that's
cool.
really awesome. And everybody's commenting on it. And now
You gotta
we
sub
can
the
end this
Mongo.
damn show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kick this pig.
Hey, I really like this dais. We're a good group. I like hanging out with you guys. I look forward to doing our Friday show where we mix it up a little more. But I love doing this Raiders of the Lost Ark with you guys. It's one of my favorite things to do. But with all good things, they come to an end. And with that, I want to leave our audience. Thank you for coming. Everyone in the chat, here you go.
Goodbye, Chocolate Mousse. I'll never forget you. Goodbye, Ducroix. Take care of yourself. Goodbye, Deja Vu. I'll always remember you. And I'll miss you most of all, Scarecrow.
There we go.
I love that show. I watched it in the movie theater when I was a kid.
It's one of my favorite films of all time.
Oh,
and
yes.
but with that, guys, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Mr. Tickle Trunk, Cavatino, I don't know how to pronounce
Cavatino
it.
Cavalry.
Yeah. Joaquin Stark, Tim Tringle Jr., of course, Mr. Tickle Trunk, Sean, the man, Darius Munchausen, Socks,
Romper
thank
Room.
you for coming. Yeah, really, these names. Yeah, I need to get the mirror, you know.
Jimmy and Tommy
let's
and
see.
Susan and Billy.
Yeah, you're old like me. We remember that shit. Jacob the Critic, I want to thank you. He's a friend of mine.
Shout out to Rowan.
Not just online, in real life. Let's see who else came. And of course, the girls, Kate and I just forgot the name of their show.
The Force.
They're gonna,
The Force of
they're
Light.
gonna-
For good? Force for something?
Yeah, Force for
Force
Good.
of Light.
I just started watching their show and I think it's great. I'm glad to have them on.
I can't remember their names, but I think they're great.
Hey, fuck you.
There was 2 girls in the white sweaters that were giving the thumbs up in that picture earlier. I think so.
I'm doing 3 things at once here, so I'm lucky I'm able to do
And
anything.
none of them are memory.
Daniel B,
I
who
can't
left
remember who
already.
these people are. Oh.
Where am I? Whose pants are
who's
these? I mean,
doing
what
this?
years? There, I swear on my teeth. I
And if
never
you aren't
seen-
subscribed,
And that's it.
make
That's
sure you
everybody that showed up
subscribe.
and talked on the chat. We had at a period over 25 people, which is nice for a normal Monday show. I think that was really good. Thank you guys for showing up. I hope you spread the word and share our links and let people know that we're enjoyable. And I'd like to see some of you guys on the show as guests with us. So, but anyway, this is Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that's Yeti Cast, Script Doctor, T-shirted historian who joined us.
Thank you.
Keith, because we still have to have a talk because Keith needs to be in that conversation about bringing you on to be part of our team.
Woohoo.
And he's racist. I'm sorry, T-shirted.
Oh.
Keith is so racist. He hates
Hispanics.
Mexicans. He hates Mexicans. He just really does. No, he loves. He loves all people. And then there's Fat Steven who hates everyone equally. And we shall come back again next Monday.
Just not on Gary.
And you will catch a varied version of us on Friday at 4 o'clock Central Time with our Thank God It's Friday show. And with that, get off our lines. Get out of here. Go do something else.
You want to hear me talk about the people of my food?